Well, it looks like we're live. It's showing us live.
We are.
Hello there.
Hi,
mind us
everyone.
adjusting
Welcome
cameras.
to tonight's episode of Andromeda Adventures and Endara, the Second Age. We want to say hi and thank you to everybody for watching, and thank you to all of our amazing players here with us today. Few spiels before we get started. I want to thank our producer Nick, and want to thank and give a shout out to Mythical Family. They're amazing. Go check them out, especially the Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern run by our Kira, or I guess their Kira. We've kind of hijacked her. Additionally, a few of us are going to be coming out to RageCon. And Kira, will you tell our audience a little bit about RageCon?
I literally opened the webpage because James psyched me out now. and I expected I'd forget all of a sudden. But yes, RageCon, if you are in the Northern Nevada area, or you can travel to the Northern Nevada area and you like Dungeons and Dragons, TTRPGs, board games, card games, panels, and bunches of nerds hanging out at conventions, then you should come out and check out RageCon, because RageCon has been going for 8 years now at this point, and it's one of the largest TTRPG / board game conventions around. And it is going to be happening, God damn it, June 30th to July 2nd, coming up very, very soon here. It's in Sparks, Nevada, so pretty much Reno, Nevada. It's all one giant city. Just don't say it to anybody here. At least in the Spark side. But yeah, come down and join us, Mythical Family. We have a booth, and we're running a big booth all 3 days this weekend. We're running a bunch of panels, an LGBT diversity and gaming panel, and a TTRPG safety systems panel. And like almost every single one of us is running multiple games. And the cool thing about RageCon is when you buy a ticket for the con, the whole premise of the con is then you get access to tabletop.events, and you can sign up for games. So tons of people like us are running games, and you can sign up to play, you can look through these games, and there's hundreds of them, and you can sign up to play a one-shot run by me, or you can sign up to play Arkham Horror run by our friend Vale, or something like that. And then that's how you spend your time at the con, is bouncing between events that you've signed up with to try out game systems. You usually have a chance to win the game system that you're playing. There's a large vendor area, there's panels, all kinds of stuff. So if it all sounds interesting, coming up soon. Check it out, ragecon.com.
All right. Thank you so much, Kira. And then for all of our wonderful audience members and people checking out the video for the first time or watching it, you can see all of our past episodes on YouTube, as well as a couple of the one-shots we've done and a little bit of our fun. We're going to be doing Geeking Out again this month, trying to pick an exact day before the end of the month. And check those out, have some fun, hang out with us, and feel free to comment in the chat. We'll do our best to respond. But with that, I think we're ready to get started. James, if you want to cue that intro. All right, welcome back. That intro went by a little faster than usual. So, Magnar, will you please catch the audience up on what happened last time at the masquerade?
What didn't go happen at the masquerade? Well, as anticipated, an uninvited guest crashed the ceremonies. And we all sort of got into battle mode, and Garth got Kudoras the hell out, sending Barry as his bodyguard. And Westora stepped up and eldritch blasted our uninvited guest, who turned out not actually to be who we thought it was, and that was the end of Quintilius rather early on. But our uninvited guest, he stepped forward and did the whole monologue about how and it brought forth a dragon. Because one big bad wasn't enough. We'll have a whole bloody dragon. But that didn't stop our Adrian here, who decided that the best thing to do would be to jump onto said dragon, and rather masterfully and single-handedly keep it deeply occupied for large chunks of the battle, and therefore not barbecuing the rest of us, for which I am eternally grateful. So we've got the big bad and we've got the dragon, and then we've got an assassin thrown into the mix. So we had to deal with him whilst sort of dragon riding is going on in the background. And deal with the assassin. Oh, I didn't mention all the undead. That's partly because I turned the undead and had them sort of run away from us, which seemed to, I would mightly say, give Roll of the Nobility somewhat of a chance to escape. I would say, however, that the thing with turning undead is it's all very good until somebody hurts them, and our party quite quickly dispatched themselves to go and hurt every single one of the undead around us, so that didn't actually keep going for very long, but it was nice to use it. Let's see. Big fight, huge dragon, big explosions, wall collapses, dead dragon, everybody gets thrown outside. Which is what Jill was working for, because he's got this grand trap set to capture a lot of them. Well, not to capture a lot of us, to capture Godric and capture his godlike powers. So there's all sorts of like whooshy magic stuff starting to creep along on the floor, which is a bit troubling, because if that goes off, boom, we're all dead, end of world. Well, no, we've got a very, very powerful Gilles de Rais, which we don't want either. So now we're fighting the battle on several fronts, including the battle outside. Forgot to mention the Queen. The fact that I managed to not mention the Queen is mostly because Westora here did such a fantastic job all the way through this, trying to keep her safe, hiding her in darkness, blocking things. And I got a little bit of a feather fall on her as she was flung outside. And, oh my god, where are we up to? So much going on in that battle. Then, I was like, dragon's dead, he's dead, that's gone. Fights outside. We've all been pummeled quite a lot. I'm pumping out healing as fast as I can, which isn't enough to keep everybody up. And we're somewhat worried that, as I said, Jill's going to take all the godly powers, and Garth here manages to take a bloody good shot at Gilles de Rais, which ticked him off mightily because he fireballs the rest of us. I black out for a bit at that point, having been hit by a giant fireball, and I'm not entirely sure what happens after that for a bit. But I do get back up, and suffice to say, Anais gets the killing blow onto Godric. Garth manages to disrupt things such that Gilles de Rais sort of manages to escape, but I don't think he's very happy with any of us. And but he doesn't get Godric. And I'm sure I've missed really important things, but that's the short and long of it. Except that, rather crucially, forgot to mention Queen's dead, because Godric, in a sort of final bit of spite and everything else, just power word kill, thump, she's dead. Which, you know, that was kind of Westora's mission, kind of our mission, and that's where we're at. We're all very, very, very poorly, and sort of hobbling around a bit. But Kingdom didn't fall, well, yet, and none of us are actually dead, which is quite surprising, really. Right, I think that covers it. Sorry, it was a bit jumbled.
All right, thank you, Magnar. So as we pick up, Magnar and Garth, you guys are standing on the balcony overlooking the fight and everything that's happened. The large ballroom is cleared. All of the nobles and guests have run off and gotten away. The corpses of the few undead that were in there have been lay on the ground, destroyed. You can hear the final bits of battle raging in the offshoots and corridors and side rooms of the sort of grand palace as it's all finally getting wrapped up. And from your view, you can look out over the city, and you see a couple of spots where there's a few fires burning. It looks like some a few small battles took place, but for the most part, the city seems intact. You can all of you can hear the sound of marching and full plate armor, soldiers making their way as quickly as possible to the palace, but they are a little ways out. You can hear the echoing sort of screams and panicked rush and footsteps of the guests as they flee the area. Hadrian, Anais, and Westora, you guys are down in the gardens at the rear of the palace and can see the corpse of the queen laying there in front of you. The scorched burn marks from the magic unleashed by Godric and damage to the garden littered around. As you all sort of catch your breath and look around, what would you guys like to do?
Or anything else happens, as Leon gets me up, I'm gonna just thanks. Hi. Shove past him.
Hi.
Yeah. Hi to you too, and rush over to the queen's body. Sort of stumble oh fuck, that really hurts. Oh god. And I'm gonna go to where her body lies and just kneel down and place a hand upon her forehead and just say, I don't know if you're the best or not, but my brother wants you dead, and that's reason enough to try and bring you back. So here, and just you see white and purple light pour out of his hand, and the veins of black that were creeping up from where the power word kill hit her sort of stop in their tracks as he casts I cast gentle repose with my very last spell slot, and then just sort of.
You watch as the gentle repose begins to affect the body, as the burn marks and parts of her body that seem disintegrated and blasted away by the power word kill slowly begin to restore as the body somewhat mends itself back into a pristine condition, no longer having an accelerated decay from the blast of the magic. Clothing still tarnished and damaged. The queen's broken mask laying on the ground, but she seems intact.
Anais looks up towards the balcony and yells out, Magnar, are you able to help down here?
I can't. I'm spent.
Can you get down here at least?
How am I supposed to get down there? Where's the bloody stairs? You lot just fell off the edge.
They're around the side. Just get down here as fast as you both can.
Coming.
Oh, there were stairs. We really should have used those.
All of you hear a sort of tearing, echoing, deep, guttural wolf's howl that seems to echo around, and watch as one of the windows over the hall next to the hall, an enormous white furred werewolf with a medallion of silver breaks through a window and begins to hop off into the night.
As everyone is watching the werewolf, Restore is going to reach down and grab the rings that fell on the floor.
All right.
Careful with those.
We're about to get a lot of company. We need to decide what we're doing with her and how we can best help her.
I need to rest. I need to rest. I can't. I need to sleep.
Either we revive her or we find somebody else who can.
I think we could hand her over to the proper people who can.
I feel like we should probably do it because we don't know if any of them are in Jill's employ, and he seems to maybe. Do you have time to put up one of those bubbles again?
It takes me 10 minutes to cast it. I can put up one of those bubbles. It's just, I don't know who we can trust right now. We need to make sure. Thankfully, Hadrian stabilized her, but we need to get her. We need to get her back as soon as possible, and this is about to be a political nightmare.
By the way, something important. I did shoot Jill DeRay.
You what?
Oh,
I did shoot him.
I'm gonna hug Garth.
Fucking brilliant, man!
You can't. He's up on the balcony.
Oh, I thought he was
yelling out to you.
Did you kill him?
Get down here so I can hug you.
I don't know.
Did it hurt him?
Bloody hurt him. You pissed him off.
I'm gonna look at Leon.
Yeah.
Say, Leon, do you know a place where we can safely keep the queen until we can revivify her?
I've got a big room.
Anna's
Perfect.
busting out the chalk, getting ready to start
Spike just
drawing
kind
a
of rubs
circle.
her.
I think we could just do it on the
Um,
floor here inside the bubble.
I think we should do it on the floor here, yeah, because Mistora, don't get me
Starts
wrong.
drawing.
Yeah, thank you. Walking through the city with the body of the queen in our arms seems like a very fucking.
I'm sorry, I forgot
terrible
he was staying at that house.
Yeah.
I thought he was maybe staying there.
What is
by the
it
way,
bad?
Did you guys enjoy the fight? And I'm looking to Leon and Spike like.
I don't think anybody enjoyed that.
Oh yeah, he was
What?
awesome. There was a dragon. Did you see?
Yeah, I jumped on top of it. Of course, I fucking saw it.
I was like, look, we can stay here and deal with the guards, tell them what we saw, or we can get the hell out of here. But
I would
I
advise
doubt
probably
anyone's
staying.
going to be happy if they find us with the body of the queen.
Well, then we just put up a bubble.
We either run and deal with having the queen's body with us through the city in pursuit, or yes, the bubble. And she's saying this as she's drawing on the ground, like the dress scrunched up underneath. Wastora and I probably can delay them at least and talk and come out of the bubble and talk and things like that. It's just I don't know who to trust, because if you all happen to notice, I'm one of the only fucking inquisitors here. I'm the only inquisitor here besides Jill, and I don't know where her secret inquisitors are, and I don't know where any of my men and women are.
They might be suspicious of the bubble, but they won't be able to do anything about it unless they dispel it.
They can't dispel it.
They
It's
can't
not
dispel it.
dispellable. That's one of the features.
And therefore we could walk out with the queen, just she was taking a beauty nap after, nobody even has to know she died, technically.
I will tell them that she died. Like,
Yeah,
why
well, I
wouldn't
mean,
we?
I don't know.
Otherwise, if the resurrection doesn't quite work out, and we go, oh yeah, the queen's fine, she's just having a sleep. Oh no, actually she's dead.
The tiny hut, as it's called, it ends up lasting about 8 hours in the dot, typically. And it's
So-
undispellable. You can't counter it.
So,
Hours,
Magna,
she said.
you need to sleep.
Just a heads up, it can be dispelled.
Yeah,
it's just things from outside can't dispel things
Yeah,
inside, but the
and
spell
it
itself
can't-
can be
and it
dispelled.
can't be counterspelled.
Yeah.
I know because I've DM'd a lot of games where I've had to,
Yeah.
where I wanted to make sure I could.
No,
if I
I
needed
appreciate.
But-
I appreciate the double check. Yes, it can be
No.
counterspelled. I didn't know about the dispel though, but yes,
They'll just
No.
see a bubble. It won't matter. They won't know the queen's in there.
No, but it'll
technically
be
no.
suspicious, so they'll probably.
Well, we're not going to be. It's like you are, if I'm not mistaken, one of the Queen's inquisitors and defenders of the Queen, and here is the Queen being defended by you. That doesn't seem suspicious.
That's what I mean. It's going to have to be a political thing as well,
Yeah.
where I pull every bit of rank and privilege I have to try and make them believe what we're doing is the right thing right now. But I have a few more minutes left of drawing this, so you all keep talking. I'm going to keep doing this until you get a better idea.
Do you have I forget because I don't remember what we bought. Did you buy one of those bags that can hold a lot of things from Gilmore? Or
A backpack.
No.
okay, so the answer is no. Great, excellent, thank you. I just had to check. The magical backpack, the sack that can you just put a lot of stuff into it.
I thought we might have. Let me take a peek.
I thought we did too. I just wanted to ask because
I don't have it. If we did,
Addis must have had it. Well, that's fantastic.
Adish did have it.
Yeah, that's
No.
right, actually.
Well, shit.
Well, that's not good. Okay, so yeah, I'm voting bubble. Because again,
What?
I
That's handy because
yeah.
she's nearly finished it.
Yeah, no,
I
hold on a
don't
second.
have any better ideas. Yeah.
I
I'm gonna-
think if we do get confronted, and it's someone that you trust, Anais, we should hand her over.
If it's I agree with that as well. It's just the people that I actually trust, the list is pretty small. If they survived disrupting the runes, yes. If it's someone I trust to hand them over, or someone that can cast the spell we need, I will, of course.
Right. That's my 2 gold pieces.
What spell do you need? I can cast.
Can you
can
cast revive or any sort of resurrection spell?
I can wake people up when they're really unconscious.
Oh,
Don't
mother-
punch her.
Yeah.
Or,
Thanks for the offer.
No, Anna stops in the middle of. Please clarify that. Can you make her wake up right now?
I can try.
Then please try.
Wait, Anna. Wait, Leon. To clarify, she's dead, not asleep.
Adrian, let's get some try.
Okay, fine.
Leon will walk over and kind of lean down in front of her face, and let me pull up his abilities because I think he can actually cast this.
He already tried lay on hands, right? So
Yeah.
can he cast revive? What a badass.
She's about to complete the circle and is holding the chalk on the last room. I have something queued up if he does bring her back.
Let's see, where's sorry, trying to pull up his sheet.
Please, Leon, it should be big.
Big if true.
Big if true.
He shouts and says, "Wake up!"
Shit.
And he casts command.
Good try, buddy.
Right.
It was worth a shot.
As Anais is finishing the circle, I will use my earring to send to Elsbeth. Say, Elsbeth, it's Hadrian.
It only works with the other earrings.
Oh.
I thought it was to anyone.
Yeah, it was to anyone.
I thought it was just cast
We've
sending.
used them to anyone before.
Yeah, I
That's
thought it
right.
was just
That's right.
they
It's
cast
sending
it.
once per day.
Yeah.
It's not the
Yeah.
wrong earring.
Yeah. Elsbeth, it's Hadrian. Barry and a nice man are coming to the house. Stay with them, inside, and safe. See you tomorrow. You can reply to this. But I didn't tell her how many words because I didn't have the space.
How are you talking to me when no one's here? Is this pretend? I'm pretending, but I'm not supposed to open the door for strangers. So that's all you hear.
Yeah.
Did I hear you cast that to
I think so, yeah.
Elizabeth? Is it out loud?
Yeah.
I will cast to Cadoris.
And say what?
Cadoris, when you get to the chateau, there's a little girl in there. She might attack you. Say you're with the big green man and his bear, and she'll bury.
Nope.
So you're with the big
alright, Garth can't
green
count.
cutout.
Shit, is that too many words?
Yeah.
So you
I don't
hear,
know how the spell works.
25
"Why
words.
is the little girl at your house? I don't need to worry. I'm sure you're helping her. But the big green what?
This magic.
Did you say all that out loud?
Yes.
I look at Garth. Garth, what did he say in response?
The big green what?
I is sending to Cadoris.
Just
It
a
says,
chain. I
Garth
love it.
said the big green man, and to show her Barry, and tell her Restora said hi. And
I will
be
certainly
nice.
attempt to do so. Is the door unlocked? Should I be worried?
All right, who is ascending left? He wants to know if the door is unlocked and if he should be worried. Ragnar,
What?
you haven't used your earring yet.
What the bloody hell are you doing?
Where do we keep the spare key?
Send to
Oh.
Cadoris and tell him to unlock the door.
Oh, it's in the garden. We keep the spare key in the garden.
Does the
did.
door even lock after
was-
the fucking axe?
I was actually going to say, well, there is that. There's a hole in the front door, but it does lock. You can just sort of reach, yeah. Well, the point is, we want the little girl to open the door, because if he breaks in, she's going to freak out, so she needs to let him in.
Maybe send a message to her saying
Yeah.
this is Magnar.
Oh, Magna.
Right.
So she said she's not supposed to open the door for strangers.
Yes.
Tell them they're not strangers, they're friends, because they're our friends. They're friends with the nice redhead lady and the green man. And
You know,
and
that's an
Adrian.
absolutely terrible life lesson to give to her.
Tell her Barry's at the door if someone knocks, because it's true.
No, tell her to ask if Barry is at the door.
Ayo. And she finishes the circle and sends up the bubble as all this is going on.
We are
And
the best.
So
the
she knows Barry. Sorry.
The 10-foot bubble is going to be solid green this time for now and just materialize over the queen's, centered on the queen's body.
Okay.
We are the single-handedly best party.
Brilliant group of individuals.
Why is she supposed to ask
Think
if
tank.
Barry's there?
Because she trusts Barry. Don't you?
You guys are arguing over how to contact and send a sending to a little girl that likely doesn't have much understanding of sending magic.
Some of us are doing our job.
I was trying to.
You guys on the lower level can hear Magnar and Garth arguing over the best semantics to use to send an imaginary voice to the little girl. Magnar and Garth, you guys see several Inquisitors and a thronged 20, 30 soldiers in plate mail, like charge into and start kind of securing the palace and checking on the other wings and guests as several come forward to you. Magnar and Garth, you guys would both recognize Maciotus, Mr. Depoy, from
point of-
Addis.
Sorry, Frosty. Point of order. Didn't both of them come down and join us?
I came
Because James said they were
downstairs.
ready.
Garth
they
was
were
still
saying they
shouting
came
from-
downstairs,
Garth was
so-
shouting from the balcony for a bit, but I did head. For the
Just wanted to
stairs a
make
bit.
sure we knew where everybody
Oh,
was.
I did not hear them heading
Yeah.
downstairs, so my apologies. So
No, it's all good. Just want to check.
Oh, I
Yeah,
could
I'm not
show me
sure.
up. I didn't come down.
No, Garth's
Okay.
still
You
up
did.
there. Garth was shouting from
Okay.
the balcony, but Magnar
Yeah.
came down because there was a get the hell down here because
Mhm.
Okay.
me for the queen.
Magnar, to catch you up, as you went through the other wings, looking for the stairs, trying to find the way down because you're not familiar with the layout of the palace, you would see a large section, sort of the side hall, where there's guest couches and food set up. Most of it's sort of bashed and smashed, and there are sections of undead, and there are giant claw marks ripped through the walls. But looks like the guests here got out. But as you wrap around down the hall, you would find the corpse of Antoine Rigide and several other nobles that were in one of the side wings and did not get saved or rescued from the undead that attacked the area. The undead have since collapsed, no longer empowered by whatever magic summoned them. You are able to find a way down to the stairs and around to the garden. But it does look like there were some casualties in the wings.
I'm not surprised.
And you would make your way out. It would take you a little while, so you'd be getting out there right as the guards started to.
Okay.
Just a little bit. You had time to kind of shout back and forth the conversation as the guards are coming forth. Mr. Depoy would come up to you, Garth. Monsieur, we heard about your heroic deeds from several of the guests that we stopped and asked. It seems you and your friends helped everyone leave. Do you know where the queen is? Is she all right?
Do I do something stupid?
Play your character.
I have not seen the queen since the fight was a little bit chaotic. I have not seen her in a while.
I understand. If you would go with one of the guards, they'll take you to one of the triage tents that they are setting up to treat any of your injuries
No,
while we investigate the palace.
I'm fine. Yeah.
I must insist. We need
I've
to look
got
for
a
the
lovely
queen, and we
little
need to help
house.
anyone that is injured.
I've got a lovely little house to get back to.
That should be all right, but please stop at the triage tent to be healed if you are injured.
Right. I will. Fuck, I'm not sending anymore. I will leave to the triage tent.
um, as the rest of you are down there and the tiny hut emerges, are you guys staying outside of the tiny hut or heading in?
Restore will stay outside for now.
Yeah, when I cast it, I was like half in, half out, and then just stood up, and I'm outside of it right now.
Don't you need to stay inside of it when you cast it? No. Okay, good.
I don't. Let me double check because now I'm
I
questioning
believe
everything.
you do. I believe the
Do you?
caster has to stay inside.
That's what I thought.
Shit.
It's fine.
I'll stay outside with the Stora. I will for the most part.
Yeah, the spell ends if you leave its area.
Well, I know from Critical Role that Liam pops his head out all the time to talk, but yes.
Well, that's
so
not
yeah,
leaving the area.
Yeah, it's not. No, you're completely correct. Yeah. So yeah, she'll be in the middle of it then with the queen, and she'll be kind of standing towards the edge. So like bust up is stuck out.
You did say
Keep
half
talking.
in, half out. You were-
All
So-
right.
Ship bust. Just,
Um,
cresting.
Right. So hang on. Am I sending this sending message?
Send whatever you need to. I don't think the best look is when the guards are coming down to be yelling about what the green man means to the small girl. They could just think we're all crazy.
I think the more important thing is if we're going with this plan, since it seems like the best that we've come up so far when we weren't spending time talking about sendings, you're supposed to get in here and rest, Magnar.
Right. Yes. Right. Sending. Hello, small girl. It's Magnar, the little dwarf. Green man's bears coming with man we trust.
Fucking brilliant.
is this more pretend? I don't usually hear voices.
It's real.
But
I'm going
I
in
like
hut.
the teddy bear. If he shows up, we can play.
He would like to play too.
Well, unfortunately,
doesn't
you
hear
can't
it,
say
yeah.
that.
Yeah, he can't say
You-
that. It's all
Maybe
good.
Magnar just hears the next random 6 words Elspeth says out loud. 'Cause-
Yes. Well, Magnar's not
Then-
thinking straight.
Okay, Mr. Lion, a bear's gonna come play.
Cool. Right, Magnar's
okay, Mr.
popping-
Lion, a bear.
Right, she's playing with a lion. I'm gonna go and sleep. Anyone have anything to help? I'll be all right.
Hit you really hard.
Yeah, let's not do that. I'm not feeling terribly robust.
Several guards and soldiers come making their way sort of around the building and through some of the side entrances. Anais, you do recognize a few of the Inquisitors as people that you sent off to go disrupt the ritual, and they look a little beaten up and worn. And you can see scuff marks and scrapes and blood splatter against the soldiers' armor, or some of the soldiers' armor, as they make their way in. The individual leading them is an inquisitor named Harvey Escoffier.
Is that one that I know?
That is one that you know.
Okay.
He works under the Queen, but he was one of the people that agreed to help disrupt the ritual and trying to protect. He looks a little rough for wear. You can see his hands are blackened from some sort of fire injury and kind of burnt, or magic coursing through, and you can see blasts across his tunic as well as a lot of blood
Yeah.
as he leads in and sort of breathing heavily, sees you out of the tiny hut looking at everyone, and
her face is going to be one of
Leon,
joy
who's
and
outside
relief.
the hut, looks at him and kind of immediately says, "Hi, we helped."
Harvey.
Leon. Actually, keep going.
Madame Clementine, is everything all right? Are we out trying to help any of the survivors and looking for the Queen?
We have the queen. It's
Is
went.
she all right?
She's dead, but we're working on reviving her right
He
now.
sort of clutches his chest.
I know. She has gentle repose cast on her. Godric managed to kill her with a power word kill in front of us, but we got gentle repose cast in time. And we have a cleric with her body inside the dome right now, resting to be able to cast the spell because I don't really trust most people right now. So this was kind of an emergency effort. Are you and the other Inquisitors okay? How many did we lose?
We lost, sadly, 5 of our Inquisitors and several mages and guards across the city. However, from word coming in, I'm still checking in with everyone. Unfortunately, everyone's magic is quite exhausted. Does not sound like there were any civilian casualties.
Good. That's some good news, at least. I don't think you're able to cast Revive. Do you know if there's any Inquisitors nearby or any that might be able to speed this process up?
As far as I know, all of the priests of Ale and Arun and other healers have been dispatched to the city to treat any of the injuries or damage around. I don't know if any of them have it intact. I can try and contact the Lord General and see if he is available. He does have holy magic of Aeos on his side. However, we must get the Queen's remains to somewhere secure. Are you still... You have not been given access to it. For now, I will position the other guards and city guards around here, keep the body safe. I will go and try and contact some of the Queen's Chevalier and see where they are. I'm not sure why they were not here to help.
I was about to ask you the same thing. When hell broke loose in there, it was really only me and Jill that were representing the core. There was none of her guard or anyone else, and I'm flabbergasted. I don't know where they are or what happened.
I know the Lord General had heard the revolutionaries were planning to attack and had taken many of his guard to the city gates. But I do not know about the Chevalier.
I don't know where Jill is either. He was casting a lot of strange spells in the attack, and he had a trap down here to try and trap Godric. And
was it successful?
No, it failed. I killed Godric by my own hand. He ended up falling before Jill's spell could. Thank you. Yes, I will stay and take authority over the Queen for now. But yes, if you can post guards and get the word out, we will be here protecting her.
Of course. Please try to recover. This area is a bit exposed, and there are still some revolutionaries fighting in town. Might I suggest you head into the palace and find a secure room?
I considered it. I just don't know what's in there, which is why I'm using Tiny Hut. I mean, I assume you're familiar with the spell. It's impenetrable unless it's dispelled, or I doubt anyone's going to do that. And if they do, I have some nice twisted arcane words to counterspell it.
This is good to hear. All right. Take care of that. Are any of you injured? They're setting up a triage tent in front of the palace.
Anna's dress is like starting to soak through a little bit with blood as she has like 8 hit points, and she kind of coughs and goes, I think a lot of us could use healing, yes.
You cannot leave the area.
I cannot.
I will go see if any of them are available to treat you. For now, guards, please take up position. 2 by 2 rows, 10 flanks, 10 soldiers each direction around the perimeter. The rest of you head into the palace and search for any survivors.
Good luck. I have to sit down. I'm exhausted, but let me know when you're
Take
back.
care of yourselves. I must continue securing the area, if you'll excuse me.
As you sit down, you find Magnar snoring quietly inside the tiny hut.
I'm gonna walk inside the dome.
Leon goes over and kind of taps the guy on the shoulder. Excuse me, Leon. Is there anything left to fight? I do not know. Yeah, of course. You're here on the... Please, just stay here with the others. But I want to fight! If it's not over...
Before I go in, I'll say, Leon, when I'm feeling better, we can fight.
Leon goes off. Hey guys, where are we fighting? Where's everything? Why obviously the soldiers are kind of looking at him, shaking their head.
Yeah.
Spike goes over and sits down by the fountain. Everyone jumped down on to rest. Hervé heads into the palace to make sure everything's secure. Just the guards take up position. You can see them rows of 10, 2 rows. So 20 soldiers kind of posting on each flank, and the rest kind of lining up against the wall as the others scatter about the rest of the palace and follow Monsieur Escoffier into the palace.
When Anna sits down and catches her breath and sees that Magnar hears and sees that Magnar is snoring, she's going to just motion through the air and make the interior of the dome completely pitch black, which is an ability of the spell. So it is completely pitch black on the inside. So Magnar can hopefully get some good shut-eye.
And then Hadrian will walk into the dome and almost trip over Magnar. Just fuck. Well, this is really awkward. I'm gonna try and like position my back against the wall just to move to a place to sit down near the dome so that I'm not bumping into anybody. And as I sit, I'm gonna just say to the air, presuming you're here and awake and ice.
She's going to immediately twiddle her fingers and make it dimly lit because this is something that can be altered. And she's going to look at him like, what the fuck are you doing? And gesture to like get out of the dome as he's trying to talk. Points at Magnar.
Oh, then poke your head out for a second. Then I walk outside
She's going to make it dark inside again and stick. You're going to see this much, like shoulders up of Anna lean out of one side.
Little Magnar
that is disturbing as fuck. Yeah, Magnar's he's not gonna be woken up by an earthquake at this point in time. He literally fell asleep in 2 seconds. Like,
yes, but you're loud, and I want him to sleep uninterrupted.
You do realize sound can come in through the dome. When you were yelling at the gods, he would have heard that.
Don't tell me how my own magic works.
I just did.
Goes back in the dome.
All right. Well, I mean, I'm still gonna because of what I just said. Yeah. Why do you do that, by the way? Like, you don't have to answer me, but why do you say thank AO for something that you fucking did? I don't fuck it. I'm just gonna like sit down outside the dome, twiddling my thumbs. I don't fucking get this whole thing of thanking gods. What did AO do here? Muttering to himself, like just. I mean, at least Restora's patron did something by giving her the magic, right? It's like point.
Restora, we can't hear you if you're talking.
My patron also tried to make a deal with the horrible dark powers to apparently rule the world with Jill or something. So
yeah, but they are fickle, right? So maybe she's gone back on it. I don't fucking know.
All right. So, Garth, you would be treated and have your injuries bandaged and wounded as you eventually leave. You were going to head back to the house, right?
Yes.
Okay. So as you get there, you catch Cadoris outside the door with Barry, arguing with someone on the other side of the door. I am not a stranger, madame. I am a friend. I have the bear here.
I'll walk
Did they not tell you that we were coming? Well, I heard someone saying that, but I don't know. You could be a stranger. How do I know that the bear is the bear? Because it's the only bear that drinks this much. How else? But he doesn't have any alcohol with him. Where's the rest of the people? If you're a friend, shouldn't they be here too? No, madame. I am here. This is where your friend told me to come. Please.
I'll walk and put a hand on Cadoris' shoulder from behind. I'll take it from here. And I'll go to the door. Elizabeth.
As you look at the door, you can see peeking out from the little crack and hole where the axe was, a little stuffed tiger animal's eyes peeking out.
Hello.
Hello, mister. I'm not
Elizabeth.
supposed to let strangers in.
It's me.
Who's
Garth.
me?
Garth.
Garth, you're our friend. Okay, you can come in. And you hear click, click. The door creeps open and the tiger pokes its head out. Are you sure you're Garth?
I do believe.
What's the password?
Oh, fuck.
I don't think that's the password.
Cookies
It's a
are
naughty word.
the best dinner.
What'd you say?
I said cookies are the best dinner.
You hear a. Cookies was the password, and the door pulls up.
Lucky guess.
So you see Elspeth standing there. Playing pretend's hard. I mean,
It
there were so
is.
many voices I was hearing. I didn't know who was talking. And it was one animal and then the other, and they were telling me a whole bunch of stuff.
I'm glad to see you're safe.
I didn't let the strangers in.
Good, good, very, very good. But they are not strangers. Especially
They
not Barry. No.
Sort of peeks out. Oh, hi, Barry. Hi, stranger.
They are friends. Yes. We've had a long night. How about we play a little bit of a game and then we head to bed?
Okay. But can I have cookies first?
You can have 1, 2. You can have
How
2.
about 6 because I'm 6?
You know, you do draw of a very hard bargain.
And we can both have cookies. How old are you?
Right, let's have cookies.
Okay.
And I'll have Barry play with her to tire her out, hopefully.
Twist your arm, why don't you?
She falls asleep with Barry eating cookies.
I'll just take a seat in the lounge room, pour a nice glass of any alcohol I can find, and try to nurse some of my wounds.
Kodoris comes over and is like, "Is everybody okay?"
Everybody, well, who?
All of your friends,
Yes,
Like-
yes, they're all right.
Queen, the other families,
The
our
queen's
people, the guests.
the queen's dead right now, but not like forever. I don't think. I've heard you can bring people back, but
I've heard that as well.
Quintilius, I believe, is dead. He's the only one really that I know of. I'm sorry to hear that.
You can see tears kind of welling up his eyes as he puts his hand over his mouth and his hand shaking a little bit. And it's like, I cannot. Is there any more of that? Pointing at the alcohol.
Plenty where it came from. I'll pour one
Do you
big
mind if I
glass.
begins to drink?
Have a seat. Are you hurt at all?
No, I'm all right. I cannot complain when my friend has suffered so.
But like, are you really hurt? I need to know.
Few scrapes and bruises. I got scratched by one of the zombies. It stings and itches a little bit.
Let me see.
He takes his shirt off. You can see the soft toned muscle. It's a little loose. He's not very buff, but he's definitely got a little bit of tone to him. You can see the scratch mark across his stomach and little sort of purple black flecks kind of spreading out from it.
I still do have a spell slot left. And with that, I will cast Cure Wounds at
All right.
second level.
How much are you healing him for?
This will be for the second level cast. 14. Ignore that too.
You cure the wounds. You completely cure all of his injuries and treat him. Make a medicine check.
Medicine check. Now, does this have to do with the undead wound he suffered from the zombies?
Yes. Yes.
Would I have, because I have favorite enemy? That's
I'll give you
wisdom.
advantage.
Would I get advantage? Okay, thank you. Medicine check at advantage. Where are you? 17.
All right. He does seem to be afflicted by it. Much like Barry, you can recognize the signs.
Barry is as well.
Yeah.
Do I know what it does?
I will say yes with that check. Pull it up just to give you the notes.
Yes, please.
You know, everything was better organized, but now it's just all over the place. So what you know about it is in about 4 days, as how long it takes symptoms to manifest, between a day and 4 days, the person will suffer fatigue and cramps, and suffers 1 level of exhaustion. It only recovers half the normal hit points from from resting, and over time, the exhaustion will continue to build up until they until it kills them. But some people can survive years with it.
Mhm.
Some people succumb within a month.
Oh, fuck.
Just depends on their constitution. It can be treated, and you know, there are cure disease.
Right.
Um,
Magical means of curing it as well
Mhm.
as others. Okay.
Lay on hands.
He'll just kind of look at Kadoris. Say, you did great tonight.
so did you. You were quite the hero.
I did what was required of me. But you did what you had to.
You do not owe this country anything. You are a hero. You saved people. You got others
Please.
out.
Please do
You
not call me a
attacked
hero.
those undead like it was nothing.
Please do not call me a hero.
But you are.
I'm not a hero.
He puts a hand on the side of your face and kind of tries to tilt your head so to make eye contact.
I will let him.
You are a hero to me.
Oh, that makes one.
I'm sure the others see you just as such. Maybe you should learn to believe in yourself as much as you believe in others, and as much as I believe in you.
If only it was that easy. Hey. Now,
One time, maybe you'll believe me someday.
Kadoris, I need to tell you something very important.
Of course. Hey,
Right now, you are sick.
I feel fine.
Of course, you do now. I'm gonna find a way to cure it. As well, Barry is also afflicted.
Is it serious?
Not with me helping you, no. Just get some rest tonight. I've got a great load of friends who can help you, I think. And if they can't, well,
If
I'm
you say
sorry.
it'll be fine, I believe it.
Right.
Where should I settle in?
Take my room. You need a bed more than I do.
He gets up and looks back as if to say something, and then continues to walk forward. And heads
Okay.
up the stairs and then stops and is like, which one is your room? Could you show me?
Right.
Ooh.
I'll walk him
Criminal.
to my room, the one with the 2 beds, and I'll point to the door. It's that one right there.
Oh, I see. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Have a great night.
I hope to see you in the morning.
You probably will. More
he-
than likely, unless I somehow die. But you'll still see me.
Powerful warlock like you, I'm not worried.
Wait. Okay. Have a great night. Head back downstairs and probably crash on the floor
Okay.
after a while of drinking myself to sleep.
All right. We'll cut back to Wastora and Hadrian, Anais. What are you guys doing for the evening?
I had
Wastora,
asked.
Wastora currently has probably found a seat, maybe on the edge of the fountain or something like that, and she's sort of sitting there, looking fairly relaxed. Her eyes are currently closed. She is like still wet because she fell in the fountain when she fell off the balcony, stuff like that. Although her clothes are perfectly good because they're just, basically magically created clothes, so they don't really get wet. But so her hair is matted and stuff like that. And she's tried like gently brushing it aside and making it look presentable. But she's just sitting there calmly, quietly, eyes closed.
And I'm actually approaching Astora to sit down next to her. Sort of sit. Is there anyone like within direct earshot of us, or if I'm whispering or being quiet, would we be able to sort of?
You have about 60 guards positioned within 50 feet of you.
50 feet. Okay.
Generally speaking, in any given direction. Some are like 100 feet away. Some are about 50 feet away.
Astora, you have the message spell, right? Or not?
I don't believe so.
Fantastic. I'm gonna lead. I fuck. Okay, I say, hey, play along for a second, and I'm gonna like put an arm around her shoulder and lean in to whisper in her ear to try and make it look like
one eye just shoots open.
Mm-hmm.
As she just stares at him with one eye.
I say, trust me, this is not comfortable for me either, but those rings that you picked up,
Yes.
I think we should try it and make sure that we fully understand what they are before we do anything with them.
I agree.
Having said that, they are draconically oriented artifacts. And I know that people in Amaris were freaked out about their existence.
Okay.
Think about them as artifacts of the gods, and what are we going to do if the queen demands them?
I don't. If the queen is even aware of them and demands them, I don't think we're in a position to refuse.
I mean, she was dead before Godric disappeared, so she doesn't necessarily know that.
I'm not saying we can't try to convince her otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just saying we're not in a position to refuse. And she kind of glances around at all the guards in the courtyard.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure we're on the same other page about this. Well, I don't know how to get out of this now.
If you kiss me, I'll kill you.
I was going to say, why don't you slap me? I'll fall into the fountain.
She happily slaps him.
I fall into the fountain. Oh,
It
what
actually
did I
was just a
do?
bit too hard when she does it.
I mean, you have a strength of 7. I'm not that concerned. About the
Well,
but
well,
Hadrian
it's still a
falls
bit,
into, yeah.
and I actually do have a strength of 7.
Yeah.
But so yeah, it's not very
Yeah.
hard.
But Hadrian
Alright.
falls into the fountain and then like loudly laughs and like, ah ha ha, that was hilarious. Looks around and then walks into the bubble. and goes to
Restora's
sleep.
already has her eyes closed, and
Mhm.
and she's actually trying to get into her elven trance, which is why she's doing that.
I walk back into the bubble drenched and just sort of sit down.
After about an hour, an exhausted priest of Ao comes up, little tattered white long robes with sort of little embroidered dragons, looking dirty and exhausted, with like a deflated sack hanging off of his side. um, comes wandering in, and he's short, only about 4 feet tall, but looks very human proportioned, and has sort of blonde swept hair. You guys would recognize him as a halfling as he comes walking in. Just, all right, who's beaten up? I've got a little bit of healing magic left.
Do you have Revivify?
No, someone dead. There are more
Yes.
people dead.
Yes, that's okay for now. We can manage that. We have several who are injured. One
I'm
moment.
just a local healer.
Thank you for coming. And Restore will go over, pop her head into the bubble, and ice.
And she'll lean her head out and look up at her. Yeah.
Would you or Hadrian like any healing? A priestess here.
Before she answers that, point of order about meditation and stuff like that. If we had an hour, Anna would have been doing a short rest for arcane recovery. Did we get a short rest or not?
You would have gotten a short rest if you wanted to
Okay.
take one.
Yes. Oh, there is a button built in for it, isn't there? Okay. Cool. I'm doing a bit better. Thank you for asking. I managed to catch my breath and do a bit of meditation, so it depends on how you and Hadrian are. I'm all right for now.
I believe Hadrian went into the bubble.
No, he's out on the
I
fountain.
didn't hear.
I'm
Oh.
sorry.
I was very quiet when I entered. just
I
walked
didn't
into the
hear.
bubble
I didn't
circle
hear him
around.
come in, and he can hear both of us now. So
Hadrian, do you need healing?
I also got some shut eye, and I also healed Magnar while he was sleeping. He didn't. I did my healing hands. He didn't seem to respond, which is a good thing, but didn't want him to choke on his own blood. I'm fine. And also, I just, no offense to Ao.
Yeah, you hate him. Thank you.
Well, no,
Um,
yeah. I don't care. So
Yeah.
But tell the priest thank you very much. I appreciate his efforts, just not his God's.
I'll let him know.
You don't have to let him know that last part. That's not diplomatic.
No, I understand that, Hadrian.
Okay,
Thank
just
you.
making sure.
Yeah, okay,
Hey.
you can shut up now.
thank you, Astora.
Of course, yes. I'll go over the priest. And of course, by the way, Wistora, 5 hit points out of like 42, so she is beat up. There's blood on her. Again, clothes immaculate. Herself, not so much. She has been trying to get a long rest in, so she is not, because she only needs 4 hours and stuff like that for a long rest. So I have not taken a short rest yet, although I
Okay.
just got interrupted, so I'm about to have to restart. So I'll go ahead and say, if you feel that there's nobody else in particularly dire need, I'm not dying right now, but I would be happy of any assistance you can give, and everybody appreciates you coming over here to help.
Well, at least it wasn't a complete waste of time. You seem pretty hurt. So he digs around and pulls out a few supplies and kind of scrunches them up into a little bit of a paste and puts hands on your shoulder and is going to cast Cure Wounds for 7.
I'm happy to have it.
It's like, all right. If you're the only one that hurt, there's others I need to help in tough situations.
Yes, please do. Thank you very much again. And
Have a good night.
luck. Good luck on your difficult task.
Yeah. You have no idea. Walks off. Other than that, Spike will kind of lean against the wall of the castle and cross her arms. Go to sleep after arguing with the guards about wanting to leave, but and insisting that she stays. You all get a long rest. You settle in for the night. You are sleeping on the concrete or stone, not concrete, but the stone grounds of that. So I do need Constitution saves.
Tiny hut is hemispherical. It actually has a floor on it, so I don't know how you want to rule that, but because the cold could still transfer through it. But just now that I had to reread the spell a couple times and look up the errata for it,
It's a weird spell.
it is, and I always can learn more about spells.
Would all have to make a con save.
You do not, because yeah, you're sleeping in the chateau, so you're fine. But I would say, while it is a comfortable temperature in there, it's still pretty solid floor, and you don't have like your sleeping gear pack or anything like that. You tell
beds.
me.
Rock beds.
I'm Wow, Magnar even rants in his sleep about the cold in the plains. That's really impressive.
Yeah, you're used to sleeping on stone. Dirt, that's a different story. But
So
all the little lumps and uneven ground, no, you want perfectly smooth stone. What story you can meditate and trance anywhere, so you're fine.
Sure.
So Anais, I do need your con save.
Sorry.
I do have a bit of a description while she's trancing when the long rest is completed for her.
Okay. So unfortunately, Anais, you are not going to get the benefits of a long rest. You just could not get comfy. You're focusing on the hut. You've got Magnar snoring and all the other noises of the city.
I don't suppose she gets my aura of protection, because that doesn't come in until after the long rest.
Damn it. You're over. Yeah. You're in the hut. So yeah, you've got Hadrian and Magnar snoring, solid stone ground. You're just and I will say you will get a point of exhaustion because you did miss it by enough. It was a bad night for you. After about 4 hours with story, you would be up. Your rest would go through.
So as I'm resting, probably all the guards who are there, nobody in the tiny hut, because can y'all see out?
They can see out, but they're all asleep, so it'd just be Anais, who's trying to sleep.
Right. They can see that Wistora, her skin and hair gets like to a darker green, begins to take on sort of dark, summery colors, things like that, and then about maybe a third of the way through, her hair turns red, her skin turns into like a bright fall orange. There's browns that are appearing, and then by the end of it, she goes back to her normal blue hair, bluish skin, and things like that as she changes to winter once again.
All right.
And when she gets up and she finishes her trance, her clothes then sort of go through a similar transformation where they that, and eventually go back to her normal sort of regular pants and jerkin kind of thing.
All right. As the night goes on, eventually the sun begins to rise very early in the morning, and right around sunrise, a very built and buff plate armored and immaculate white plate armor with gold trim, sort of etchings of different dragons on it. Gentleman with a very dark, almost earth tone, sort of brownish skin, with a bald shaved head and a Van Dyke mustache and goatee, with a large broadsword on his back, with a flowing blue cape hanging off of the armor, comes through the guards, and seeing the hut and everyone asleep except for you, Westora, kind of comes forward towards you and says, I'm the Lord General Rocher. I'm looking for Anais.
One moment, please. I'll go over to the dome and stick my head in. Anais,
Yeah.
there's a general here to see you.
Oh, good. Thank you. And she's gonna stand up and do the halfway out of the dome thing again. And her hair is an absolute mess with bits of blood, dirt, and just sweat having distorted it. And she looks very disheveled in the dress with dark bags under her eyes. And she looks around until she locks eyes on the general and does like a very informal like salute / wave.
Going to order a Magna Night up at this point. So this is like
No, this is
Okay,
only
just making sure.
like just
Making
before
sure.
the sun's coming up. Report, Inquisitor.
Godric attacked and tried to assassinate the queen and was successful in the end. We had a large amount of casualties. Jill and myself were the only inquisitors on scene during the incident. Jill tried to capture Godric and failed. I struck Godric down in the end after everyone here contributed to fighting the man, but not before. He cast Power Word Kill on the queen, and she fell, despite our best efforts. We put a gentle repose on her, and she's been in here with us while our cleric has been resting, preparing to cast Revivify because we had no one else in the area to cast it. And frankly, sir, I have not trusted anyone else to be with her body at this time. So I erected this defense in the meantime, and she gestures at all the guards. Thankfully, the rest of the troops have helped.
Very good. We fought off the rebellion at the gates. They'll be made a public example of for their atrocities, and we are currently looking into other Valakians in town to hold as war prisoners. As we understand it, they attempted to assassinate the queen.
I almost
And
forgot
apparently
that
were
part,
successful.
Yes. Sorry, Frosty, help me with the name. I don't know why I'm blanking on all of a sudden of the lord that turned against us.
Baron Sangir Markov.
Yes, Baron Sangir Markov also joined in the assassination attempt and struck a few deadly blows as well.
We'll see it to that the Valakians answer for their crimes. However, I'm glad to know that the Queen's body is safe. We can certainly investigate the ability to resurrect her. You said you put gentle repose on her. Do any of the people you know of have Revivify? The clerics and priests in town have been exhausted treating the wounded.
We do. Inside this sphere right now is our cleric, our wonderful cleric Magnarn. He's trying to recover enough strength to cast it, and he can cast it. So by the time shortly after the sun is up, I believe he should be able to.
I will entrust it to him if you believe he can be counted on. but I'll hold him responsible for the Queen's well-being.
I would say in this case, the Queen's well-being is my responsibility, being the Inquisitor on site. But yes, sir, I do trust him and all of these individuals, and you have plenty of witnesses to attest what they did during the attack. But yes, I trust Magnar with my life and the Queen's life, and we will. And she kind of glances up where the sun's coming up in the sky, or will be lightning soon. We will cast it soon.
– Very well.
Have
Considering the circumstance, once you've revived the Queen, please take shelter within the Winter Palace. I'll have my guards maintain position around the city. I do have something disturbing that I have to share with you for your ears only.
And her face kind of like she was in the middle of about to ask something, and her face screws up briefly, and she goes, I'm sorry, sir. I cannot leave the sphere, otherwise the spell will fail. Can you come close and speak, or does this need to be a conversation afterwards?
He kind of looks around to see like the crowd and all the people.
Yeah. Or she also kind of gestures and makes a gesture, or magical communication.
Sadly, I'm incapable of doing so, unless you have the ability.
And she like tilts her head to the side. I do, if you can say it in 25 words or less.
That's feasible.
All right, just one moment. Let me clear my head, and I need a. She pats like the dress, being annoyed, and then shoves her hands down and squirms around for a second in the hut and pops out a piece of copper wire that she tosses in her mouth and chews on it uncomfortably. And then in his head, he hears, I'm just sending you this so you can respond back, but you have 25 words, and I will hear every single one of them in private.
So he informs you that the Chevalier, the Queen's personal guard, were found in their homes, assassinated. All 15 of them. It appears to have been done with a combination of magic, and as they seem to suffer from a hold person spell, and then had their throats slit. They believe they were assassinated for that. He'd tell you that. He'd tell you several possessions of the Queen's were stolen during the party.
Mm-hmm.
And they received a formal declaration of war from Valakia.
So, actually meant message, not send it, because she can just message for free with cantrip. But she'll actually put a hand over her mouth as the conversation goes through, and she's going to reply so they can talk through message for a moment. I can't believe it. Every single one of them?
Yes. And looks like many of them have been dead for quite some time. But people have seen them around since then, so there were others somehow disguised.
This might be wild speculation, but do you know the status or the whereabouts of the other Inquisitors, including Jill and Jill's division?
His were busy before setting up some kind of ritual within the grounds.
Have you heard any word of them since?
Surprisingly not.
Jill was here. Jill and myself were the only two Inquisitors that I could identify here, especially during the fight. And when Jill's trap failed, he vanished. And I didn't see any of Jill's men either. And it's suspicious to me, combined with this, just for things to think about. But that is horrifying to know. I can't believe it.
Last we heard, his staff were taking up position around the ballroom and castle to perform a ritual to capture an enemy. But we have not seen them since. But I'll send troops to his quarters and to their position to see if we can uncover any evidence.
Well, even evidence, but just to take stock of who's left after all this, because if we had those dead sitting under our nose this entire time, Lord knows what else is waiting for us, General.
My concerns exactly. Please keep this underway. We don't want a panic to spread throughout the city.
Of course, I will. You'll have a message for me the moment the Queen breathes.
I expect it. He kind of huffs and gives a few orders for the guards to help protect the area and make sure that the palace is secure, and heads out. The rest of you are able to finish your rests as the sun comes up and the hut fades.
Oi, Magna.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yes.
Did
And
you
you
get
talk
some
in your
sleep?
Yes. It was surprisingly easier to get off than I thought it might be. Always was a bit of a sound sleeper, but I was... Anyway, yes, hello. New day.
Hello. New day. Can you do something about this dead royal?
Don't
Right.
rush. Don't rush the man.
No, let's get this right. Now then, hang on a second. And
By the way, you don't notice that as Hadrian wakes up, there's sort of like a soft glow coming off of him that he does not seem to be aware of, but it fills you all with vigor and strength and sound reflexes. But he's just kind of rubbing his eyes. So
Wait a second. Where's Garth?
Goth went back to the chateau, I think.
You know, last you saw him, he was up in the palace.
I thought
No,
since I
I
was
have
in
no
here, I
idea.
just assumed Garth was out with you. Was Sora?
I
I haven't seen him.
Oh,
I'm
yeah, it was
I'm
up on the balcony,
sure-
and then I went to sleep. I assumed he'd come down.
yeah.
I'm not sure he's fine given everything else that just happened, Hadrian, but it will deal with it after this, I guess.
I'm
Triage.
sorry. I trust my companion to be okay, given that he just literally called down god arrows on a fucking dragon. So, like, you know.
Well,
But I appreciate your concern.
I'd say I sent him a message, but that wasn't going terribly smoothly when we tried that yesterday.
Actually, yeah, I'll send. Hey, Garth, are you okay? Where are you? How is Elsbeth? Did you and Cadoris like seal the deal or not? Adrian,
You get back a lot of snores.
Okay, well, he's sleeping apparently, so he must be fine. I heard, and I will relay the snore sounds as best
Oh,
as
that's
I can.
going to lead to some rather strange dreams for Garth.
Yeah, I'm glad you contacted him. I'm sure he's okay based on that information. It doesn't matter about trusting someone to be okay when someone can fucking power word kill, though.
I know. I'm sorry. There's a lot to take in, and I was flippant, and I shouldn't have been, and I apologize.
Excuse me. I hate to interrupt, but since you're awake, Magnar,
Yes,
Oh,
hang on.
he's working on it.
Well, no, I've got to find the bloody... Hang on. And he's, like, rummaging around through various pouches inside his vestments.
because I believe the tiny head is now gone.
The what?
So what?
The tiny head, it's 8-hour duration.
Yeah,
it's
8
yeah,
hours.
yeah.
We established that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we were asking him to bring it up to revive, but Magnar he's trying to do it right.
Yeah,
I'm
well,
sorry.
first
I'm sorry,
off,
I missed it. Sorry.
And we were
That's-
just
it's all good.
arguing while he was doing it. Like,
Look, I've
we're
just got
passing
to
the
find me
time.
bloody diamond. Hang on, it's in here somewhere.
Is that a euphemism?
What? No.
Okay, sorry, Macy got into my head.
Finally, he procures from deep in the robe somewhere a rather fine-looking diamond. And begins to cast Revivify.
All right. As you cast the Revivify, we are
Ah.
going to go to break.
Okay.
Ah!
Oh shit!
Beautiful timing.
What a cliffhanger!
Right, we'll be
Cliffhanger
back
within a
with you soon
cliffhanger
then.
within a cliffhanger.
All right. As we left off, Magnar, you were casting Revivify.
That's car. Whatever ungodly power was brought forth from that inky black monstrosity has robbed this nation of their queen, and it is not her time. And whatever brought about her death was not natural and was not timely, and I impeach you to help her return and continue her work on this realm with our guidance.
As you cast, and the diamond turns to light and sort of presses into the queen's body, light seems to suffuse her remains. And Magnar, you find yourself standing on the stairs to the Winter Palace once again. You hear the sounds of music, a sort of macabre dirge playing and echoing through the halls. You can hear the chitter chatter and voices of people echoing around the corridor. And as you look around, you can see the black ink slowly spreading across the stonework, like little tendrils and veins creeping across as bits and pieces of the palace are slowly dissolving into smoke and wisps as the area holes form, seemingly vanishing into nothingness. You can see the large doors to the ballroom up ahead.
Right, well, I'm going to go heading up for those.
As you make your way through and open the doors, you see many people dressed in various fashions throughout the ages, most of it old-fashioned. A huge crowd fills the area. It does not look like the masquerade. People are talking, their faces distorted and kind of twisted, turned as more of the place is dissolving and the ink spreading across. And you can see the queen on the opposite side, sort of talking to different people, almost in tears, looking at them, thanking them.
Magnar rushes up to her. Oh, Your Majesty.
Oh, well met, my little dwarf friend. You do not look like any of the other guests. I do not recognize you. Are you a long-lost cousin, uncle? Or...
Ah, right. I think I've got an idea of what's going on here. No relation. No. I'm still alive. Quite like you to be too.
What do you mean? I'm here with all of my family. Everything is fine.
Right. So recall yourself. Do you recognize some of these people here, yes?
Mm-hmm. That is my great-grandmother, and those are some of my great aunts and uncles.
Lots of greats going on there. When was the last time you recall speaking to any of them? I want you to think very carefully about that.
Quizzically, like this does not. These people are dead.
Right. Yes. To my earlier point.
What is going on here, dwarf?
Right. So think instead of yourself presiding over a masquerade ball.
As you say that, her eyes strain, and you see the scenery change briefly as she kind of gasps and steps back as you see the monstrous form of Godric sort of form in the center and hear the screams of the masquerade guests. She's like, no, it couldn't have happened. No, it's not possible.
No, yes, did happen. You're seeing the worst of it. Well, not quite the worst of it. The worst bit's right for you coming up. But we got through it. He's banished. And
are my people okay?
A great many of your citizenry, in fact, the vast majority, as near as I can tell, all of your citizenry, are actually okay. This Godric fellow seemed rather single-mindedly to be after you.
I fear he may have succeeded. Nothing here seems quite right.
Right, well, what I want you to focus on is just how unright all of that feels, and what you do remember think about not the conversations you've had with people with dead, but think about the conversations that you've had with the living. Think about your own protector, your Anais, one of your inquisitors. Like, think back to conversations with her.
So
Try to picture her in your mind.
as you do, you can see the whole room kind of changes again. It's still dissolving and spreading with the blank ink, and you see Anais and the queen standing, and Anais saying stuff to the queen. Anais, give a report to the queen, some random event that was going on at some point.
It was a small disturbance in the square, Your Majesty. It really shouldn't have gotten out of hand as it did. It was a child with latent magical abilities that started to spring up at an inopportune time. We've handled it, and the family has been taken care of.
Do you know if this child had any deals with? No, and the queen kind of stops. I know this was long ago.
Not
Tell
so
me.
long ago, but think about the weather. Think about the sounds. Focus on the conversation. Recall it.
She begins to. The conversation continues to play out, and she kind of again stops and looks at you, and she says, "Did you stop the man?
Yes.
Did you stop this Godric?"
Yes. And this is the reality you can come back to. The people that you know, the people that you've spoken to recently, the people who are still alive, the people who you can help. That's the reality.
Queen must never turn her back on her people. They will always need me.
That's quite right. All of your people will need you, and we have some conversations ahead, but your people do need you.
How do I return, dwarf? And she kind of, are you here to take me? Can you bring me back?
Well, I'm seeing the inkiness recede, and I'm seeing the palace look rather more like the reality that we should be in. I think if we head back out through those doors to where I came in, if you're prepared to come with me, then I think I can lead you out of here.
Oops. As she begins to walk, you begin to see a light glow around her and sprout into two celestial angel wings kind of behind her. And make a religion check.
Whoa, okay. Sorry. There's a 15.
You recognize a divine soul. She has some lineage of divinity that is helping and pushing back against whatever this strange sort of blackness that's trying to creep in is as you lead her through the doorway. And briefly, out of the corner of your eye, out the back of the palace, you can see a brilliant giant sun held aloft by two horns over the horizon as the light shines into the palace and seems to blanket everything with this enormous, bright, blinding light. And the next thing you know, you're back and holding about as you hear the queen gasp for air and sort of bolt upright, looking around.
Thank you for coming with me on that journey, Your Majesty.
You're the dwarf from my dream.
Less of a dream, but yes. And here is Anais, who your ability to recall her so vividly helped bring you back to where we are.
One of my most trusted. She waves her hands as she stands up, and you see her prestidigitate herself back into perfect hair and makeup and clothes, all return to normal.
Fucking thing she does, like you.
Anna
What's
sends
your tone, sir?
Anna
You're in
sends
the
a sending
presence
to the
of
general.
Queen. Unfortunately, he's not within range for send. Oh, no, sorry. I thought you
Sending.
said message. Yeah,
No,
not
sending,
sending. Brain fart. Sorry.
Yep, no, it's all good.
I apologize, Your Majesty. It has been a long day and a long night, but I am glad that you are back among the living.
We are all incredibly glad. Thank you, Magnar.
She kind of looks to the pile of dust where Godric was standing. I see he has been taken care of. Very good.
I don't know if a figure like that will stay gone forever.
No, he'll be back.
Well, we will be ready for him. Might I have each of your names? I know all of you were fighting rather valiantly to help protect me.
Oh. I'm Hadriel Azuna, fallen champion of Ishgard and servant of Alduin, apparently. I incline my head.
You see her eyes narrow and kind of glare at you. Then you must be in league with the Valakians.
No. I mean, I'm not sure what about my actions during the fight would have said that to you, but
That was a
Yeah,
very
Matt.
confusing battle. And don't look, Jill really did that to tick you off. There's no need
no,
to let that.
I'm aware. I'm just.
You're just confusing the issue, especially because you don't even want to be referred to that way.
That's true.
This
I
is
was
our
referring
good friend
back.
and guardian Hadrian, and who
Hadrian.
fought valiantly against
At
the
your
dragon.
service.
Hardly
It's
makes
also-
up for the attitude, but I will at least forgive it this time.
I am
Uh,
Restorer West Freshna of Joru.
yeah, I bite my tongue.
Well met. And you, Sir Dwarf, that ventured into my mind.
I am tumbling over my own words. I am Magnar Smeltbrow of the Cormond Mines. At your service, Your Majesty.
Well met. Each
There
of you.
is one other of our group who, unfortunately,
Did he pass?
gonna say no. He is alive, but he had to go and check on someone for us. He goes by Garth, a very very brave warrior who fought valiantly to help save your life.
I will take his name into consideration as well. I appreciate what all of you have done for me and my country in helping stop these assassins and this revolutionary that claims to wish to start a war. I must check on my people and make sure everyone is all right, and I desperately am in need of healing
Oh, yes.
and rest.
Apologies, Your Majesty. With that precipitation, you made yourself look absolutely, pristine, and I forgot that, you barely come back when I do that.
A part of the trick, but one must conduct themselves with a bit of decorum.
Your Majesty, before anything else, I've sent a sending to some of the troops to let them know that you're back with us, but there's a matter that I need to inform you of immediately and privately, if you don't mind a bit of telepathy.
I always disfavored such magics when not absolutely necessary, as it lacks a personal touch and the ability to read one's expressions and demeanor when delivering such. You have all done very great. Let us head into the palace. I will arrange for rooms for each of you, and we might speak in my room privately.
All
Miss
right.
Clementine.
Of course, Your Majesty, there just might not be any other Inquisitors here for a brief time, so I would like to stay as your private guard until others arrive.
I would not have it any other way.
Thank you.
Magna was muttering a quiet prayer of healing whilst that conversation was going on. Possibly a little bit too quiet. 8 points of healing.
Okay.
Your Majesty, if you're arranging for rooms, that is appreciated, but there are people we should check on. Could you
If
we
you,
all went
if you
past
have
here,
rooms within town and places to go, do not let me keep you. However, I must speak to Miss Clementine, and until my soldiers arrive, keep her with me.
of course,
As the rest of the soldiers that were watching the area kind of fall in.
I will wait outside the doors of the palace for her to. Your conversation must be important, but I would advise and also apologize. I apologize for the actions of my brother. Not that means anything.
Are they your actions?
No.
Then there is no need for you to apologize. You are not responsible for others unless they are under your charge.
True. The more important part was that, first of all, he won't stop, and second of all, this wasn't just about Amaris. So, I would. Obviously, these are conversations to be had in the future, but.
Then we will have them then, if you'll excuse me.
I bow and
Before
walk towards the doors.
as they begin to walk away, Magnar and Westora, Anna's gonna make like a pointed tilt of the head to make sure she like catches each of your gaze and kind of glance between you two. And she's just, because she can use it freely, she's gonna send a quick spam of messages to you both, just letting you both know I'm talking to you both. So it'd be something like, Westora, Magnar, I'm sending this as quick as I can to both of you. Please don't tell anyone else. But what I need to tell the queen is that her personal guard were found dead in their homes. Don't tell anyone yet. I'll be back with you as soon as I can.
Westora, who wasn't moving to leave,
Oh, sorry. I just,
suddenly goes,
because I was leaving. Yeah.
yeah. No, she offered the rooms.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, yeah.
Adrian was the one who was like, you want to go check in on Elsbeth. Westora's happy to just follow the queen.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Still wants him to know. Yeah.
I'm waiting outside the doors for.
Yeah. So whoever's following the queen, you guys would head into the palace up through the lodge. You can see there's other guards sort of and law mages investigating, taking up positions, sort of analyzing everything. It looks like they've cleared out the bodies, but you can still see the blood stains from where people were injured or killed. And the Inquisitor Escoffier comes up and tells the queen that they've secured the area, they've suppressed rebellion, they're working on getting the law mages, they're treating any of the injuries of the people. Sort of just gives a generalized report and lets her know that the palace is safe. And the queen asks them to arrange for rooms for those of you that are following. I'm not sure if Magnar is, but I know Westora is.
That sounded like a private and urgent matter. No, Magnar's going to stay outside.
Okay. So yeah, please get a room for Westora Freshno, and takes Anna East up to the palace and asks them to send the law mages there to help secure the place and to send a healer to treat her until they escort Westora to a very nice, large, grand room, huge vanity, perfumes, private bath with
Westora walks.
giant cushioned four-post tapestry bed.
Westora walks in and like mutters under her breath, "Finally."
Does it have a bath though?
It's got its own private bath.
Yes. Westora immediately says thank you to them, shuts the door, and then spends like an hour in the bath until like she's needed for anything else.
All right. With plumbing and magically into fresh hot water and
The only civilized way to live. Right?
Anais, you're taken to the queen's sort of guest room, which is in she has like her room off to the side, and this is more of like a living and meeting room. You can see the opulent couches and large paintings of past nobles and of the skyline of Amaris. You can see the large windows with gold inlay and stained glass. uh, and little spectral servants that look like various animals come out and begin to prepare food and set tea on and bring little scones out for each of you as she sits down, heads behind, grabs a new dress and heads behind one of those like 4 folding dividers to change in some privacy. So, what is
Do
your
something more
report?
comfortable. Mhm.
I
Don't worry, no one can scry in here.
No, I wasn't concerned about that, Your Majesty. It's just I wish I had better news for you. But it was discovered shortly after the battle ended that your personal guard, every single one of them, was found dead in their homes through a very, very malicious combination of potion, magic, and sword. They were all dead for some time before the masquerade, even.
That implies that there was a coordinated effort behind the scenes,
It does.
and that far more went into this to my birthday than initially was assumed. Have they found anyone that they consider a suspect or responsible yet?
Anna starts to do like a small like pacing pattern back and forth and kind of wrings her dirty, bloody hands as she waits for the queen and talks out loud. The general hasn't found anyone yet so far, though. Jill is missing, and Jill's troops are missing as well. Not that they are being blamed, we just don't know where they are. But beyond that, it's suspected that the Valakians could be behind it because there were also found a written declaration of war with the bodies.
The Valakians will soon learn that they underestimate the powers of Amaris. We forced them back in ancient times to their lands, but we should have dealt with them centuries ago. We will have to make diplomatic reaches, however, our army is not what it once was. The cost of peacetime, I suppose. I had hoped to maintain a peace, hence my invitation to them. But
I think we all
this will
hope for that.
only give the outcriers for harsher punishments fuel for the fire. Sadly, this may turn our country into a much harsher state. I will not be able to curtail their desires to crack down on illegal magic use.
Yeah, I predicted as much. She kind of stops
However,
pacing.
my understanding is that you have developed methods to ferry some of the nicer ones to safety.
She stops, still like squeezing her hands really tightly, and just stares, picks a spot on the floor to stare at as she hears that. You could say that.
You seem surprised that I would know something that is going on within my country.
No, not particularly, Your Majesty. You tend to know most things that are going on in your country.
Not everything, but my chevalier did their job. And I thought it a truly noble cause to help those in need and who are not criminals in our country. Some of our laws are a bit archaic. So I did what I could to support your activities and make the changes that I can.
Thank you. I'm sure you already know more details than I could even fill you in on right now, but I do hope that you were able to see the good faith that it was carried out in.
I know that those of young age and that were involved in accidents never turned up in the morgues, and that your reports tended to leave out the specifics of how they were dealt with. I assume that you managed to get them to safety from prying eyes.
Yes, Your Majesty. I tried as best I could to do the right thing, which is my belief of what the Inquisitors are meant to do.
If I had my way and could control everyone within my country, it would be the same, but politics is a dancing on a knife's edge.
Speaking of that knife's edge and the next dance move to come, once the dust settles from this evening, not that it is going to really settle anytime soon, would you like me to quietly resign?
Mm. Do you intend to continue to aid those that you fought with this evening? Or to fight for Emery's?
Uh, I mean, I fought for Emery's my whole life, and I want to keep doing that. The individuals that I fought alongside tonight, though, I feel like as much as I despise the word, my destiny might be being pulled and tied up in that direction, and I don't know if I can truly commit everything to Emery's right now.
Do you think that they would fight for the best of Emery's?
Yes, I do. I think that every single one of them has an amazing quality to them, and they truly do the best. They ever since they've been in the city, they've been trying to do the right thing, even if it hasn't always gone exactly as they had planned. But they're some of the best people I've ever met, Your Majesty, and I
That
do
is a
believe
lot coming from you. Your decade of service has been distinguished, to say the least.
Thank you. I don't want to resign, Your Majesty. I am an Amerisian through and through. It's just I don't want to make that knife's edge sharper against you and everyone else in the coming days. And if your guards figured out what was going on, they're not the only ones. And Jill knows. Jill told me in no uncertain terms how much dirt he has on me at this point, and I don't want to be a thorn in your side. I've tried very hard to make sure that I'm the opposite of that.
While I'm aware of Gilles' particular proclivities and deceitful nature, I have no love for my cousin and would see him in shackles were it entirely up to me. His failures here will not serve to help him in the courts, nor to take any action against me and our country. In fact, this may actually give me a bit of element to push back and suppress his movements within the kingdom. And I believe your friends may be just a tool to do so, especially considering their success where his failures met, and those that witness their bravery at the party would be sickened to see any deviousness or plots come to harm them. However, I must carefully consider the options ahead. I do not wish for you to resign, but depending on how the others that helped play their hands, you may have to play the part. However, know that Emery owes you and each of them a great debt, and I will see that it is paid. She comes out in a very nice, elegant maroon and black gown.
She looks up at her, and it's obvious that Anna's had like a couple tears stream down her face, even though her composure is very steely. And she just looks at her and smiles wistfully and goes, "Of course, if there's a part that I need to play, I will play it. I don't need public praise or accolades. I just want the right thing to be done in the end, Your Majesty. So please let me know."
For now, keep an eye on your friends. Uncover what you can, if you can. I'm sure the law mages and the Lord General will be investigating the situation. My guards should be arriving shortly, and it seems that whatever attempt was made has died down, or I would have been attacked in my vulnerability. However, for the rest of the time that we have, please enjoy some tea and a bit of breakfast with me, and then you are dismissed as soon as as soon as what is left of my guard arrives to keep me safe. Inform your friends that I will call upon them as soon as I have resolved the immediate concerns.
She nods and moves over to get ready to take a seat after she sits, but is ravenously hungry, so will happily join the queen.
So Hadrian and Magnar, you guys are waiting outside.
Yeah,
Quite some time would go by.
I feel like we'll just wait because what I want to do at the chateau, I would like Anais to be there. Given, yeah, so we'll just sort of. I'll look at Magnar. So you brought the queen back to life. How does that feel?
Well, that is, I have to say, quite the experience. I got to the other side, I guess you'd call it, and she was surrounded by all of her ancestors.
Oh, really? So were they introducing themselves as like the master mage and the master, and then she was like,
well, to be
the
honest,
master.
their faces were kind of distorted and the words were a bit indistinct, so I wouldn't
Yeah.
really like to say much.
No, I'm sorry. I was trying to make a crack about the fact that your introduction was you had like a strong lineage that.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Well, I just took that for granted. That's how people introduce themselves. No, none of that. Possibly a conversation for another time about,
of course,
about some things, some interesting facts about the Queen and potentially why Godric may have been quite so fixated upon her.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of, this is not for a now thing. But just again, like you may have noticed that my brain is sort of scattered all the time because it's really hard to keep like I don't know how many years of memories there. But at some point, like seeing what Godric turned into, I've got to get this shit out of me, or I'm going to be a liability to everybody. And part of me feels like the answer may be in the sword, or I don't know, right? But like
well, that's entirely possible. Although I'll say your brother doesn't have anything quite like that sword, and it seems more to do with the wing popping out and black ink flying everywhere.
Yeah, but he had black ink flying everywhere. There's.
Yeah, well, the sword. I didn't really want to mention it at the time because you seem quite attached to it, and I didn't want it to evaporate on you. Let's see how to begin on this. The gods, they like to meddle in things. You'll have noticed. If you go far enough back in time to when humans walking around and all the other races, the best that they would ever try to do to each other is bop each other on the nose with their fists.
Which can hurt.
Right, but apparently some of the gods got bored and it wasn't terribly interesting, so they put into the minds of some of those who are wandering about to maybe go and sharpen some sticks and make them a bit pointy. Like, I don't know, maybe they stuck a giant obelisk in front of them and sort of sent a message into their heads and they decided to go off and sharpen some sticks.
Have you been talking to Macy more?
Well, no. There's some stuff that I've been reading back in Cormand. Anyway, what they put into their minds was the idea of a weapon. The idea that you could shape the world around you to make yourself more vicious than you could with your own fists. And that concept, that idea of the weapon, you can see that as a permanent thing. Now, over time, weapons have changed and become far more advanced and intricate and everything else. And you have all these sieges of war and everything else. But the seed of the idea of crafting a weapon to attack your enemies, that concept, that idea, that dream, if you like, that's what your sword is. So when I said to you, it's the first weapon, clearly it's not the first weapon. The first weapon was a slightly pointy stick. But your sword is the concept, the idea of the first weapon. Personified, if you like. And I didn't mention it because it's more of a concept and a thought and an idea. And if you think about it in the wrong way, it might evaporate and disappear, or it might transfer to somebody else, or it might take on a different form entirely. I have absolutely no bloody idea how it works. I'm not very helpful about this, am I?
I will stare at you for a second. I was asking about how to get the black ink out. I'd hoped that the answer would be to stab a certain point, but that was... I don't know what to do with that, Magna. I'm gonna have to sleep on that or think on it, or I mean, you're wow. Like I don't think of myself as a simple man, but like that. So the weather today is really nice, isn't it? I'm just going to change the topic of conversation, trying to get away as we're waiting for Anais. And he's
Westora.
I am actually thinking about it, but he's like, he's not. It's too much. That's too much at this point in time. He's deflecting.
Shortly after you are finished in the bath and kind of enjoying the room, there's a knock at the door. Madam Freshno, are you available?
Have I had time to dress before this after the bath? Okay. I am.
Do you mind if I come in?
Do I recognize the voice or anything?
You don't.
I will go to the door and open it and see who it is.
See a well-dressed elf gentleman with long golden hair tied into a ponytail, wearing what looks a bit, basically wearing a butler's outfit.
Oh, I open up the door. Says, "Hello."
I'm Monsieur Mesny, one of the groundskeepers and butlers for the Winter Palace. I've come to inform you that breakfast is prepared. If you would like to take it here or in the dining room, it is your choice. The Queen has also said that you are welcome to remain here as long as you like. She does have some vital business to take care of. You are free to leave and come and go upon the grounds as you wish. Just to remain.
And I provide a message for the Queen to read at a time that is convenient for her.
Of course, there is stationery in the desk in your room.
Okay.
And if you'd like, I can deliver it personally, or you may leave it with one of the other.
No, if you could just wait 1 minute, I will write a note.
But of course.
And Frosty, it's just a simple note with a request, put in as politely and courtly language. It'll be something like,
"You're a courtier, so I'm not going to have you make a check for that."
It'll probably read something along the lines like, "It has been a great honor, or to be a guest upon within your home. It's an exquisite designs, all that kind of stuff. All very roundabout way to get to I wish to request permission to legally use magic within Emery's." And then sign it, Restore Fresh now. Because we've been sitting here, and all I've been thinking is, we don't actually have proper protection anymore because Shield's gone.
Yes.
We never had proper protection. Shield's gone.
He would deliver the note, and he was like, "I will see to it that she gets it personally."
Thank you. I appreciate it. And you are dismissed. I do not need anything else.
He gives a bow and closes the door behind him as he walks off.
I'll go have dinner in the dining room, or breakfast in the dining room, and I will be speaking to whoever's there, socializing, the background kind of stuff.
You'd find the hall fairly empty, mostly just the staff attending.
Oh.
You would see that there are a few people there, inquisitors and stuff, that have been treated to breakfast on this morning, that are keeping kind of to themselves, and there is an air of nervousness and tension to everyone that is in the palace. The staff are really busy trying to clean everything up.
Yeah.
Once a pleasant breakfast. Anais, you would be dismissed as soon as the guards came and people came in, so you'd get the chance to leave.
Am I up at this?
But you have a pleasant breakfast with them, and then Garth, you would be waking up around this time. I believe you wanted to try and cast sending.
I would like to cast Ascending, yes.
Okay.
I'm going to send to Anais.
Okay. Unfortunately,
Oh, she's in the scry-proof room.
Ah.
Fuck.
it would not send.
Fuck. They cast it already, so I can't use it today.
Well, wait a second. Don't there? Oh, no, the earrings work till everybody. Fuck. Never mind.
Is it?
Sorry.
Wouldn't she be at breakfast at this point?
She's
at
in her
breakfast with the
room,
queen.
which is protected currently.
Fuck. Okay.
We'll get to
Never
you soon.
mind.
The
I will
sender you're
not
attempting
send.
to reach cannot be
Was there
contacted
someone
at
else
this
that
time.
you wanted to send to? Because I would say it wouldn't use it, just be an invalid target at the time.
Oh, okay, cool.
Okay. Well then,
Get a
seeing as I
business signal.
can't send to, I will send to Magnar instead. And he will say, Magnar, I don't like asking, but I need your help. Fedoris and Barry are sick. Please help me. I'm at the chateau.
All right.
Just waiting for Anais. Will be with you shortly. Magnar.
I'll look to the vendor. What's up?
Oh, that was Garth. Oh, hang on. Am I still sending? How does this stop?
You just have to keep saying,
Eventually you'd run out of words.
But like, yeah, what's up with God? What's going on?
He needs my assistance. Kadoris and Barry aren't well, by the sounds of it. Some
Injured or
well, he sounded. I mean, I imagine getting hold of healing isn't so much of the issue. This sounded rather more serious than that. He seemed to think they were sick.
oh, sick. Oh, I think I can help with that actually.
Right. Well, yes. Well, I wonder why he. Right. Well, yes. We should. Let's take
We're
a
waiting
bit
for
of time
Anais.
there.
Yeah.
And around now is when she would be coming out.
Oh, hey,
Seriously.
good timing. We so there's multiple reasons to go back to the chateau. Is everything okay? Is the queen okay? You're muted.
That's
You are
scribe
muted.
protection.
Anais.
You're muted.
Yeah, you're muted. Anais, yeah.
The enchantments on her quarters actually stick with you for a minute or two, like the way it's
Shut up.
designed, and, like, yeah, the silence follows you. It's a bitch for some of us that have been in there before. When Anna walks out, she's just as disheveled as before, hasn't cleaned herself up at all, and she's just like she's still in the beautiful gown with like the nice shoes, and she just has like the rapier in the sheath in a hand, like carrying it. And looks like Walking Death at this point, and kind of looks up at Hadrian as he speaks out. And what was the question?
Oh, I was gonna ask, but I don't make a practice of speaking to zombies. So we should go back to the chateau.
Yeah, that's where I was headed. I was wondering if any of you were still here. The queen is.
We're waiting for you. Yeah.
Thank you. The rest of the Inquisitors showed up, so I'm off
Good.
duty. For
Yeah,
now.
well, you should get some rest, but apparently Goth and Kadoris are sick. And also,
They're
I really want
sick?
to check on Elsbeth. Yes, I can deal with it, but we just have to get back there. So, like, let's go.
Let's let's go. And she
Yeah,
just
we head
takes
back
off
to the chateau,
at a very
Alright.
brisk walk.
and I will knock on the door when we get back there.
You guys would get back a bit before Westora, because Westora is enjoying
Mhm.
a nice bath and a wonderful breakfast and the pleasant atmosphere of the palace.
I'm in no rush, just sort of
Oh, God,
enjoying
love
the
it.
niceties of
Magnar had
life.
been chewing on a ration biscuit outside while he was waiting.
You could have followed the queen. Don't complain.
As
we
we
all
get
get
back
back
to
to
the
the
Rooms and
chateau.
everything, and you're like, I'm
Yeah.
gonna go outside.
And I'm gonna get the door.
As you walk in, you see Elsbeth chasing Barry across to another room,
I'm
going, I'm a
Hey.
zombie.
Elsbeth! I wave at her and try and call her over for a second.
She kind of stops. I'm a zombie. I can't talk right now.
Oh, really? Okay, you go get. But you know, Barry is already sick. Apparently, you should go for people who are actually not sick. You know, Anais, and I'm gonna go towards her and just, you're a very scary zombie, but I'm very not afraid because you know what? we were at a dance, right? But we didn't get to dance. And you know the rule in the stories, right? Is that the beautiful princess has to get a dance. And I'll like gesture to Anais and be like, I've got to help the animal companion and the cute boy. Do you think you could be the prince or the beautiful princess for a second? Can you stop being a zombie and go be a prince? Or a zombie prince? You could be a zombie prince.
Anais, do you respond to this?
I'm just
I
talking to
mean-
Elsbeth.
You
No,
said
well,
Anais.
well,
So
well,
I
I
was
was-
saying
I
all
was-
that to
no.
Anais.
No. I was
Yeah.
talking to Elsbeth. I was telling
Yeah.
Elsbeth to go be a
Yeah,
prince
yeah,
for
yeah, yeah.
Anais because
Yeah.
he's got to deal with Barry and
Oh.
Cadoris.
Mhm.
But he's trying to distract Elsbeth while he deals with Barry because Barry is running around going, "Ugh," and he wants to make sure that he doesn't,
Okay, sorry.
traumatize the child.
I misheard you. I thought you
Yeah.
said, hey,
I-
Anais, you're like...
No,
was
no.
like,
I was asking Elsbeth to
okay.
be Anais's prince because Anais didn't get to dance, and obviously Elsbeth knows these fairy tales and has a very active imagination.
They'd be like, but I'm playing a zombie right now, and I'd be a princess.
So a princess can't dance with a princess?
Yeah, princesses can dance together.
Yeah, then you can be a zombie princess dancing with the not zombie princess. Try and convert her to being a zombie princess.
I know how to do that. And she'll walk over and say, can I see your hand?
She swaps which hand the rapier is in and gives her her left hand. Yeah, yeah.
She kind of opens her mouth wide and like playfully bites you. She's like, see,
Yeah.
I'm eating you. I'm making you a zombie now.
Hadrian almost loses concentration as I lay my hand on
Now you're
Barry.
a zombie princess like me, and we can go and rule over all the zombies in the land.
Oh no, I'm terrified. I'm going to use lay on hands to cure disease on Barry.
Okay. That would cure Barry.
She's as that's happening, she's gonna lean down to Elspeth and go, you know what's going to make us even scarier as zombies though?
What's that?
If we be one big zombie. And she grabs her by her waist and puts her up on her shoulders.
She
And
goes, we're a big zombie.
we're a big zombie. Let's go see if there's anyone we can terrify. And she takes off through the kitchen, running with Elspeth through the house to play with her for a bit.
You would all see Hadrian melting at that image. And
So, Garth, are you saying anything to them as all of this is going on in the main hall?
I'm in the lounge.
Figured we hadn't seen Garth yet.
yeah, I was
No.
gonna say, Goth, where's I was gonna
I'm in the
Goth,
lounge.
Goth, Goth. I'm gonna yell until I hear him.
I'm in the lounge.
All right, where's Cadoris? I heard he's sick.
He's in my room.
All right, I'm gonna go up to the Garth room and knock.
You'd hear groaning. Just 10 more minutes, Ma.
No, and I'm gonna open the door.
You'd see Cadoris laying in the bed, holding kind of head tucked into one of Garth's pillows.
I'm gonna walk in, very Hadrian-esque, put my hand on his head, lay on hands for cure disease. There, you're better. Get back to sleep. And I'm gonna walk out and run
Kind
out
of
to
puts his hand on yours, holding in. Thanks, Garth.
Oh,
Hadrian will stop for a second and just say, "You're welcome, Cadoris." And then I'm gonna walk out.
You see him kind of hum and put his arm around the pillow.
And I'm gonna go out to and just I would like to play a scene at some point here, but just presume Hadrian is running around being terrified of zombie amalgamation Anais and Elsbeth in the backyard. So
Okay.
everyone else can go first with their scenes, but
What is everybody else doing?
Stora, until like the story event happens, something like that, is mostly going to spend her time in near her newfound lodgings, socializing it. Although probably we'll try to get in touch with Magnar today at some point if possible.
All right. You would say the palace
Probably
is-
will try to stop by the chateau actually. After a
Okay.
bit. Just keep things simple.
Garth?
What am I doing?
Yeah.
I think I'm still kind of hanging out in the lounge. The only thing that stopped me from drinking last night was falling asleep.
Hmm.
The only thing that stopped me from drinking last night was falling asleep. I am now resuming.
Okay.
in the
Anna's
lounge.
gonna. No,
And
go
the only time
guard.
I get up is to get more. And I
Okay.
come back.
Eventually, Elspeth would get bored while I go play with her toys and run off. And
Anna's probably not gonna even make it that far without fucking tired. So she'd play it very enthusiastically for probably like 5 minutes and then wander into the lounge where Garth is and sit down near Garth.
Yeah,
If Garth's drinking, she's joining.
And I was gonna
Okay.
say Hadrian would follow Elsbeth actually. To go.
So we'll do a little bit of a time skip. Is there anything you guys want to do around lunchtime when you all kind of meet up in the lounge, enjoying a drink? Anything you guys want to discuss before we move ahead?
After Anna has a drink, she's gonna try and go to sleep because of
Yeah,
how exhausted she is.
I think Hadrian just wants to have a conversation with Elsbeth actually. Just sort of maybe while Anais is semi-conscious, like in while Anais is having her grown-up juice. Bring her into the lounge for just a bit. He goes off and plays with the toys.
If we ever get to a point where everybody is actually in the same room at the same time and awake, then
Which we need, yeah.
Then
Mm.
Magnar will start speaking, but otherwise, people will just keep popping in and out.
Well, that's what I'm skipping ahead toward.
Okay.
Like, throughout
so
the day,
assuming
like
people have had a bit of a nap and okay.
you've had time to rest, recover.
Um,
You're muted, David.
Or we'll be in the court all day and we'll join everybody in the evening. when
Yeah.
They're all
So
there.
we'll say it's that evening.
Sure.
right, finally, we got all of us in the same place at the same time, which seems to have been.
I don't know why the rest of you didn't take the queen up on her offer.
I
Those
got
rooms
a little bit
are
confused. I thought they were
Because I had this person to get back to, and he's like sort of like, you see, he's got Elsbeth like reading a book sort of next to him, like pointing out little.
You should.
Images in it.
The queen owes you a favor. You should take it. In the meantime, and Bastora takes the rings and puts them on the table in front of everybody.
Oh, that's where they went.
I thought we might discuss these.
Yes. Right. We'll add that to the list. Well, yes. Okay. We'll do that. I'll add the Queen's Divine Soul onto the list. Anything else?
Oh, what?
Well, no, one thing at a time.
We'll
Rings,
get there.
Divine Soul. Anything else to queue up?
Certainly. I guess there's not much we can think about for Godric's return. Jill is somewhere, but we don't have anything to really discuss about that. I suppose since we don't know. Yeah. So
I
probably
mentioned
this-
this to Magna, but
Oh, he wants to get rid of the blue, the inky.
yeah,
stuff
the
out of
black,
it.
yeah. I
Yeah,
would very
no,
much like to.
I agree with that. It causes a lot of problems.
Yeah, to get
Right. So, rings, divine soul, inky stuff.
yeah. That those sound good.
I think yeah.
Right. Well, it's going to take me a little bit. I don't know if I can do them all at once, or this is going to consume the next 50 minutes. We'll see. Or longer. Magnar rummages around and finally finds the pearl, and then starts tapping against the first of the rings and doing a ritual identify.
I can always help if you need it too, Magnar.
I can sort of do this and we can keep chatting. Well, there's 5 of them. Yeah, if you want to take. Yeah.
If you want.
There's 4 right now.
4, that's true. Yeah, if we had 5, then whoa, powerful.
Oh, I'll reveal the rings to you guys.
Okay.
Shall we read this aloud, or
You can discuss it aloud. Technically, that'd be what Magnar would get.
okay?
But that's the mechanics of them.
Right. Yeah. So maybe Magnar, you could summarize it for us and the viewers at home.
Right.
Yeah, you can describe them in game, but I don't want to be like, here's all of the mechanics that can
All
That's
right,
happen.
right.
Let's see. Let's pick one at random. Let's start with let's start with the blue. It's an Isgardian ring. That much I can tell. I think we knew that already from the runes. It can store a spell cast into it.
Sorry, that should say Aruk. I messed up.
Oh,
That's-
right.
That's a brain fart from the GM typing the wrong thing.
Oops, a Rukian ring. Right. Forget what I said. Right, I think perhaps asking the dyslexic dwarf to impromptly read through large blocks of text and
I
summarize.
can
it may not be the
translate
best
for
trick.
Magnar if needed. If that's like, so
For the sake of our viewers, that might be the best move.
So this ring stores spells cast into it when the bearer attunes to it. So you can store up to level 9 spells, but unfortunately you can only store a single spell at a single level. So if you cast a level 1 spell, it's 1 charge, and up to 4 charges if it's a 4th level spell, up to 9 charges if it's a 9th level. While wearing the ring, you can cast any spell stored in it. For 2 spell slots, aka 2 charges, you get damage absorption against the type of the ring. When you're wearing no armor, you can add your charisma bonus to your armor class. If you have a breath weapon,
Well, that's mechanics.
That's
Yeah,
mechanics,
yeah.
right?
Be-
So
yeah,
this,
you should.
So basically, this allows you to utilize by putting energy into it. Various draconic-esque abilities, including summoning a draconic spirit. If we were able to put a number of or a magnitude of spell in it that was above our current capacity. Unfortunately, it also seems this ring is cursed. So for the black ring, anybody who puts this on will become convinced of their superiority and take every opportunity to exert their dominance.
well, that explains
also-
quite a lot, doesn't it?
It will destroy magic potions within 10 feet of it. The red ring, they all seem very similar. The red ring will make one prone to utilizing excessive cruelty in the pursuit of their goals, with little or no regard to the consequences, the thoughts of, or opinions of others. And also, before you can even use it, you have to kill a creature of your moral compunction, aka your alignment. The white ring makes you more animalistic. You react impulsively. You will stop at nothing to pursue your prey or defend your territory, and you get a and you become less intelligent when you put it on. And finally, the blue ring seems to be cursed with making whoever has it consider those who they see as lesser or not valuable to their goals as completely ignorable, not worth your time, and you get a big shock if you put the ring on. So these seem to be
Yes. And if you get all 5 of them together, you unlock the gates of Tiamat's prison.
I don't know about that. Godric seemed to think that he would unlock Ptolemy's prison. Either way, it's not good, right? Like it's one draconic god or another one, but either way, like it.
Anais?
These are the ones I know about, right? To a certain extent.
Yes.
Okay. Just double checking as I'm listening to them talk about it.
I don't think I want to use any of these.
It does sound like you turn into a rather unpleasant individual.
Yes, and as powerful as they are, I don't particularly have a desire to act like that towards anybody.
I have to say,
However,
this-
as you were looking at them, Magnar,
yes.
you would recognize the red ring and recognize the cracks inside the ring that were fused together with the residium from Cormand Mine to fix it. And the crystallized sort of magical essence of the magma that was fused into the deep crimson ruby on it.
Oh boy. This ring, the repair work, because it has been repaired, this was repaired in Cormand Mine. And I'm reasonably sure I've had this horrible inking suspicion that somebody who may have been Godric had visited to have a magic item repaired, which is a service that's provided and would normally go to the clerics, and I refused. I offered guidance and I offered suggestions, but they didn't really want to hear me because I wouldn't do the ring itself, and so they said, if you're not going to bloody do it, we'll do it ourselves. It got into any road. It did not end well. Well, this is the ring, and so it's...
That's quite a coincidence.
Are you all right?
Well, you talk about coincidences and you talk about fate, and you know what it is that it takes to make a fated, which is a death that should have happened that didn't. If I had been the one to repair this ring, that would have been my death.
Oh.
And my refusal to do it, and to step back into the forge, cost the life of someone else's, and it should have been mine. But the ring
It's a
was
tough.
Yeah.
The ring was what?
No, the ring was repaired, and I was more caught up in the ideas of how magic could be stored and recharged and but not that its history or that it was part of a set. And as I say, I wasn't very involved in it once I said I wasn't stepping back into the forge. If I had been, maybe I'd have recognized this for what it was sooner. If I had, well, I wouldn't have, actually, to be fair. I'd be dead. But see,
Yeah.
if I'd been more involved, I'd have had more knowledge, but the knowledge wouldn't have gotten us anywhere because I'd be dead, and I'd lack the knowledge because I didn't die.
I'm gonna go sit next to Magnar and put a hand on his shoulder and just... You're blaming yourself for a death that you think you could have prevented. You think there's some blood on your hands, correct?
Well, if you put it quite like that, I suppose, yes.
Okay. May I offer you a piece of advice?
Yes.
Okay. You're here. You're alive. You have the capacity to change things. Get the fuck over it. And that is for me as well as everyone else.
Who in the
here.
fuck are you?
I am somebody who is also lost, and I'm not trying to demean anything that Magnar has gone through. But Magnar is here. I respect what he went through. I know what you went through, Garth. You've talked about your family, who you left behind. I know what Restora went through, the guilt. We all have demons here.
You could phrase it a little bit nicer next time, yeah? Not
Yeah.
get the fuck over it.
I'm sorry. I have had a...
Show a little bit of compassion, maybe.
Okay. I'm trying to show compassion in the way that I can, which is that
Right.
All right,
Well, just
let-
to
let
set
me-
your
let me-
mind at ease. Yes, it's a little bit of a shock. Yes, it's brought back some things that I'd rather not think about. But in terms of getting the fuck over it, yes, I will get the fuck over it. That's what I do. That's how I proceed with things. I can
it doesn't
see
mean. Yeah.
I can see the logic and the reason and the fated and what that now bestows upon me to do, and I will do my very well best to do it. So
It doesn't mean you shouldn't remember it, though. That's what I'm like. And I'm sorry, Garth, that I came across as completely callous there.
Oh
I know
no,
that's
no,
yeah.
that's
I,
just you.
yeah, I know. I'm.
Fear not. I will. I will be. You know, and to an extent, I can sort of piece some pieces back together, and that's no bad thing. I'll be fine.
Right, but we all need to be fine, and we all need to know that we're not fine, but be fine. And it's
No, I'll actually be fine. Don't worry about it.
I respect you all the more then, because I'm not. I
Well, no,
know that
but
most of us
you've had
aren't.
a
but-
rather more tortured history and past than
Well,
myself.
but that's it's not about me here. I'm trying to like. Yeah, sorry.
Right. I think what works for you might not necessarily be the same for me, but thanks for the sentiment, even if it was rather bluntly of.
Yeah, I apologize. I'm just.
Which is rather remarkable for me to point out. Right. Yes. Anyway, I don't want to distract too much from anything, but just that there is a little bit of history behind one of these rings, and I suspect there's history behind the rest of them. And if you rattle off the curses, it rather well describes the man himself, which makes me wonder who or what your brother was before he started collecting these.
I suspect, especially if someone was aware of what these rings did when they put them on, that they are likely to have already been inclined to that type of behavior.
Or at least convinced that they could resist them.
I think
Well, you
it's
put
more
on the
likely to
first
say
one.
You don't care.
Put on the first one, oh, I'll just do one. And then the first one makes you think that you're like powerful and above everybody and everything else, and that'll give you the confidence to pop on the rest soon as.
I think, all things considered, we should not use these rings.
So what do we do with them?
It's a very good question, and I don't have an answer. Godric, I think, is probably not going to come back for a while. So we could maybe try to find a place to store them. Ideally, we'd find a way to just destroy them. I doubt it's that easy. Although the red one had to be reforged, so it's possible to destroy them. It seems.
Well,
Right?
Yeah, Magna, could you deduce how that happened?
the trouble, it was damaged. Like, it wasn't
Destroyed.
destroyed.
But if it can be damaged,
Right, but
Mm.
then what you've got is a thing that you put lots and lots and lots of magical energy into, and then it leaks out unexpectedly. I mean, that's more like carrying a small bomb around with you than actually fixing the problem.
well, I mean, yes, but I mean, if it had been
Like,
damaged in the past, it
if it-
theoretically could be destroyed.
By extrapolation, if you can damage it a bit, then you can damage it a lot. Yes.
Yes. So maybe that's what we should explore next. These rings shouldn't be here, and I really suspect Godder's going to return. And if we can make it so these rings aren't here when he does, I think that'd be the ideal solution. If we can't figure that out, then we need to find a place to store it until he returns, at least.
I don't know if the forges at Coleman Mines, they were barely enough to heal the slight damage that had been done. I doubt they would be enough to destroy this. We'd need...
We may not be able to have an answer to this today.
No.
This may have to be something where we have to maybe look into things over the next couple of days and see what we can find out.
Agreed.
There's lots of options for it, and I personally think the next few days in the city are going to be very telling for the future because there's about to be some big changes, I think.
Changes
Oh.
in what way?
Yes, you had some very important news for the Queen.
Yeah. You're all gonna find out about it soon enough anyway.
Oh.
So at this point,
Sorry, you did tell me earlier, at least a part of the high line, but I'll let you say it to the rest of them.
no, after the time that we've had, Magnar, it's fine. I don't blame you for letting that piece skip from your brain for a little bit, especially after what you did saving the queen. It must have taken a massive toll on your body and spirit.
It was not an experience I'm keen to repeat, and there's aspects of it we'll get to in a moment, but this is more important. Carry on.
Simply put, the queen's private guard were found dead in their homes. They had been killed through a masterful assassination plan, apparently, and they were dead for some time before the masquerade. And there was also found a note from Valakia declaring war. So, the tides of war are going to soon be upon Emeris, and a lot's going to change very shortly. But
See, then I think we need to be very careful with these rings.
We do.
Because anybody who is at war would want to use them. And these rings would rapidly make them into quite the despot.
no, and I think there are options such as destroying or lead boxes and so forth. It's just I don't know about the rest of you. Um, but in this moment right now, sitting around the table after everything that's happened, this all here feels far more real than anything that we've been dealing with in the past 24 hours or so. And with Stora, it feels like the last image I really have of you in my head is almost drowning in water. And Garth, I don't even know how you got back here after the masquerade, and you don't look all right. You haven't looked all right since I sat down and had some of whatever you were drinking before I went to bed. Are you both okay? Are all of you okay? Like, I just want to have some food and sit with you all for a while and talk, and it doesn't have to be about rings and everything else.
Well, I am much better with the queen's safety. Because that was with the queen alive, that was my main concern. I actually am fairly comforted um, by the fact that Godric destroyed is not the right word, but has at the very least been slowed down. I'm even more pleased that Jill was not able to take advantage of the situation. So actually, I'm fairly satisfied right now. Post death aside, um, I feel fairly good.
I'm glad to hear that.
It was
Um,
rough, but
Garth?
I'm all right. I've just got a little bit on my mind. It's all.
you wish
I
to share.
I wouldn't want to trouble all of you.
Well, it's no
That's-
trouble, but
Please.
it's up to you. You don't have
That's
to share
why
if you don't want.
That's why I ask, Garth. Your face has been full of pain ever since we walked back in, and a lot happened. Not to mention you mentioned that you attacked Jill. I saw that fireball go off. I assume that was him. Not to mention Quintilius and Cadoris and everything. If you have something to say, we would. I know and I'm sure everybody else would love to hear it and listen.
I think Cador's hit it on the head. I doubt myself. And what I do. I don't know how to put it in words, really. I've just got thinking to do. That's all. But
Sometimes we do.
I'll be all right.
You shouldn't doubt, though.
What
You
he
were
says.
really amazing.
I
What
know.
about you, Anna and Magna?
Oh, those. bloody arrows that kept flying in from the sky were
Mm.
fan. They were amazing.
That wasn't me.
Oh, it was you.
It wasn't. It was Nalia.
And why did
Because
Nylea?
of you, yeah.
Because I called upon her.
She wouldn't answer just anybody.
No. I take it from me that 100 bloody years talking to a god and getting absolutely bugger all response. They don't just go handing out things like that like candy. Like, you've caught her attention.
Mhm.
Now, she has some guidance for you. She has some path that she might like you to follow upon, but she doesn't, like, pick upon strangers and say, oh, they're interesting, I'll go and grant them. No, you caught her attention. So, no, that's you.
Mm.
I, my opinion. Um, I obviously think that you should be very proud of the things you've accomplished, and you've done things most people could not do. Um, uh, but I also feel that you are not somebody who necessarily is striving for any great noble goal. You're not seeking accolades or fame or to be a hero, um, uh, which is perfectly fine. And if you you can you should only focus on doing your best and doing what you think is important to you, and everything else about what people say, praise, not praise, things you might doubt about what you're doing or how, those are not important. The only thing is that you're doing what you believe you should do. That's Don't know if that helps any. That's
And Barry believes in you.
I appreciate everyone's wise words.
What about you, Anna? We all seem to be going around and sharing. Anna, you smagna.
I think Garth and I might be more alike than I originally thought. Even though as soon as I met you and got offered ale, I felt a kindred spirit of just a little bit.
I mean, how can you
But
say no?
I know, right? It's a very nice way to be greeted, especially when someone's tossing rude accusations at you, and she gives Magnar like a playful little squint and wiggle of her nose.
What? Was that wrong? Yeah,
No.
never mind.
I don't have any amazing wise words like Wistora or any of the wonderful things that I feel probably like you might feel in certain ways right now, Garth, where I hate it. I hate praise. I hate people thinking I'm special. I hate people even thanking for me for my job. I don't know why. And it's really hard to put into words sometimes, but you'd think that as a wizard, I would be proud of those spells that I can cast. But in the end, it's a formula, just like cooking. When I sketch that little circle that I've sketched in front of you all twice now on the ground, it's incredibly practiced, and it is a formula that magic and the weave flows through. It's not Anais doing anything special. So I feel you, Garth. And I think I've had some not to presume in any way that I know what you're going through right now at all or your personal feelings, but if we're talking about at least things related to Nylea and the arrow, I get you. And it's complicated for sure. But in the end, I know I at least console myself with if it's the recipe that I keep using over and over again doing the work and not me, at least I try and use it for the right reasons to make sure that other people get happiness I can't have, or I give them chances that they might not have had without my recipe or me being there. So you take the time that you need. And if there is anything we can do, even if it's silently drinking with you, I want to do it. So just let us know.
Um,
Do you want to say something, Hadrian?
I was going to say Magna should go because I want to hear Magna, but we all need to go, obviously. We'll get Barry in here afterwards because I think his insights could be really important. But
I think
Oh,
Barry
right.
has a tragic backstory he has yet to tell us.
yeah, but that's because he's, you know.
Oh, right. I see there's a pattern. No.
You don't have to do anything back
Well, that's fortunate then, because I'm all right. Although, that bit about the recipes and the spells and there's a resonance there with my relationship with my deity, but that's for another time, I suspect.
Well, we'll need to get a drink too for that.
I think a good many drinks
Yeah.
for that. There's a sort of transactional nature to some of that feels no, not the time. No, I'm all good unless we no, good.
I'll reach into my pack and pull out my last bottle of scotch and pour more. Just as I get where you're coming from, God. I get where you're coming from, Anais. Like I fucking antagonized the queen the moment she was revived because I didn't want any kind of praise or accolades because I don't know. I fucking like it felt like I looked into the eyes of what I am when I was fighting Godric, and there's such a like I don't know if I doubt my capacity to do the right thing. Every time I interact, every time I make a choice, it's wrong or and I want to help, but I don't know that mirror held up to nature. Part of me really thinks that I should just fuck off into the wilderness and y'all would be better off without it. But the other part, I don't know.
Well, we're quite dead, to be fair. Really, very, very dead.
I don't think you would. I mean, what?
No, I'm pretty sure we would be at this point.
And I will say to you, to those of you who you said you bit at the queen to push back on the idea of praise and such like put upon you, and Anais, you say much the same thing. Of not biting at the queen, obviously you wouldn't do that, but the idea of wanting to push back against the praise. Take some of it, but not necessarily for yourself. This is a world that lives on respect. This is a world that lives on renowned. There's lots we want to change about this world. There's lots that's not right about it. And the more regard and the more respect we're held with, the more power we have to change things to the way that we want. So take some of that respect, take some of that praise, take some of that glory, and use it. Don't feel guilty about it. Use it. Use it to do good. And then you don't have to feel bad about it, and don't take it upon yourself because it makes you feel better, but take it upon yourself because of what it enables you to do.
Anais, you said Valikia declared war on
yes.
Yes.
All right.
Is that
Time for some payback, Goth.
I don't know.
Just know a lot of people are going to die.
Does
my
seem
thoughts
like-
go to that as well? The people that need to be protected. The queen said to me, again, this isn't anything that's not going to be apparent in the coming days and weeks, that she's not going to be able to stop the crackdown on magic that is going to happen from this and the backlash from the declaration, from the attack, all of it together. It's going to get even harder to live in Amaris for many, many people.
Does she not get it? And the reason all of this was so hard is because there was a rebellion, because there is so many people who feel repressed.
If you try to tell her that, she'll just fight back against it. She'll tell
No,
you that
no. That's you want to know that you want to know the funny thing, everyone.
Yeah.
She does know how bad it is. In the brief time that I was able to be with her today, I've never usually spent any time alone with her, completely alone like that. I have not been the model of an inquisitor, at least the Ameresian model of an inquisitor, because I have helped countless individuals escape punishment in the city during my long time here. And if you want to ask questions about it, by all means, but for now, just stay focused on more of this topic and all of us, and especially Garth here as well. Anytime a kid had latent energy come up, or it was an innocent individual, I got them out of the city, or I made it go away. And she knew all about it because apparently her guard investigated at one point, and she called me on it when we were alone. And she thanked me for my service, which is very hard to process at this time. And she knows that it's the right thing to do to stay the hand of justice in cases like that. And she wants it to, I truly believe she wants it to be more lax. But because of what's going to happen politically and all the different parties at play, her hands are tied. And as much as we could get into an argument about she's the queen and she can do what she wants, I just wanted to say that so you all have the context that she is human. She understands. So
the least inquisitory inquisitor I have ever met. I say, and I would hug you, but I'm afraid of getting decapitated by magic. So I just
it's going to be rough coming up. So
Well,
I
if sorry,
I know I've mentioned this before, but I want all of you to promise me something. I'm going to try as hard as I can to keep helping, but if there comes a point when I fall off that edge, I just want you to stop me. I don't want to be that. And I want to keep helping, and I want to help Elspeth, and I want to help the people of this city, and I want to. I just don't know if I trust myself to do it. And
I think you're further from that edge than you've ever been in all the time I've known you.
not to mention I wouldn't hesitate to kill you. So
Yeah, I know you wouldn't.
Right, so you're covered on both hands. One,
Good.
you're further away from the edge, and two, if you took a running jump at it, I think he'd still kill you, so you're all good.
Excellent. Okay.
I
Seems
already told you this morning the circumstances in which I'd kill you, and I meant it.
Yeah, I thankfully those circumstances will never occur ever. So
Good.
Yeah.
That's really right now the only scenario where I can think of where I'd kill you. So
Garth,
sorry.
the talk of war and everything, though, the look that crossed your face. If there's things, I'm not asking you to say anything by any means, but if there's other things that we have to throw on this table, and she kind of gestures at the rings and everything, such as protecting people dear to you, she just kind of slightly inclines her head, or other things because of the war, let us know. We'll figure it out.
The only people dear to me are in this room.
Doris is upstairs, Garth.
Knows.
In the chateau.
Okay, just Barry's outside too. So just...
I don't really have anything left to protect but what's here.
I kind of feel the same. So
Well,
Yeah. I'm gonna
I
hug
just-
Garth. Actually, I'm just gonna go over and hug him.
I just don't want to go back to Valencia.
you won't.
He might.
intention of going there.
You won't.
But I think if the queen told you that, and there's going to be some crackdown on the magic resulting from that, and then I cannot stay.
You don't think that she's going to grant the people that helped save her life licenses?
I would like to think that, and
I'm-
I'm worth waiting around a day or two. I may have requested that, but I don't know what the political situation will be if she's worried about some kind of backlash. And
It's true.
it might be tricky.
If you need to
Might
leave,
be
I'll definitely need to leave. So
Well, I
Well,
think there's
we'll
a
see.
world of difference between a queen upending the sort of ways and orders of the entire realm and granting a license to a couple of.
If we can stay, I much prefer that. That bedroom is really nice.
I'm sure
Sorry,
there's
what
With-
bedroom?
With who witnessed us at the masquerade, I don't think there would be much opposition to us getting any sort of help.
Yeah, we
Mhm.
hope not, yeah.
It's true.
We did save a lot of people.
You did, Garth.
We did. All
We
of
did.
us
Well,
together.
Yeah, I know.
Assuming we're
If
able
it
to
was
stay.
just me at the masquerade, I wouldn't have been able to do anything. If it was just you, you couldn't do anything.
That's true.
All of us.
I know. I was trying to build you up a bit, but you're absolutely right here.
Well, assuming we get to stay, there were other items we wish to discuss, right?
All right. Yes, I made a bit of a list earlier on. I don't know how late it's getting. When I went in to bring back the queen, as she was agreeing to come back to the realm of the living, she sprouted golden wings. She has a divine soul through her heritage. And I think that may be why Godric has been so single-mindedly obsessed with her.
Maybe there's something about her nature that is a threat to
Or,
that.
Or a
being
giant
he's
power
tied to.
source.
or maybe she's like his great times 1,000 granddaughter.
Would that make you her great, etc.?
Yeah. I'm spitballing here, but I'm not gonna go to her and be like, hey, I've got long lost great times 1,000 Uncle Hadrian.
Well,
Well, it's a bit of a
we
stretch,
also
and we
don't
don't
know if
really have
that's
much-
true. I mean,
Yes.
there are a lot of other people from Ishgard.
I'm aware. That's why I was saying it as a joke and not a real thing.
I also need to hit the books a bit because there was sort of symbology in the background, a sort of giant sun and two horns holding it aloft. I need to,
Sounds like AO.
yeah. Yes.
And I think looking into that might be helpful, or even trying to. It might be something the queen is aware about, might not be. And what was the last item?
Well, that wasn't me.
There were the rings. That's why I wanted to
The
discuss.
rings, yeah.
We
The
talked about it a
rings.
bit.
There was my black ink shit, but
The
we
black
still-
ink,
So,
the black
yeah.
ink stuff.
That's right.
yeah.
I did have blank ink shit
I-
at the end of my list.
I think the other items are kind of like not sure what to do with them, right? I'm not really sure what to do with the rings. I'm not sure if we have to figure out options. The queen, we have to learn more. The same is kind of true for you, Hadrian, but I think maybe it might be something we might be able to act on sooner. We can figure out a bit more about it, I think.
I would be eternally indebted to all of you if we could. Not that
Well-
I'm not already, but more so.
Now we have potentially the ear of the queen. Yeah, for what we've done.
I think so, yeah.
Maybe a favor. We have people who
Research.
know things
Yeah.
at
Well,
our
it's not-
disposal.
It's not just the queen as well. Like just the fact that it's a favor for us. It's a favor for everybody because this is also a chance to study Godric in a way.
Yeah, actually, because Jill was dissecting people, but I could offer myself as a living, very close test subject to study. God, ooh, I don't want to be poked and prodded like that, but yeah.
Don't make promises you don't want to keep.
There is another topic I'd like to discuss as well. Jill.
Yes.
Now I don't know if he is actually dead.
Not
If
entirely
he's
certain.
not, he's going to be royally pissed off. Not at just me now, all of us.
Well, he did nearly kill me with the fireball.
Yeah,
He did, yes.
I was gonna say, Goth, I don't think you need us to tell you in any sort of like convincing terms that if Jill comes after you, I think we all have your back.
You weren't there, Garth, but the word through the inquisitorial units is that we don't know where Jill is or any of Jill's people. So it's
That could be. That's
Yeah, it could be
not
good or
the-
bad.
it's
Could
not.
be.
it could.
It's not reassuring.
Oh, it's
Well-
not.
Well, Garth, I think the important thing right now that is our biggest benefit in a protection against Jill is sticking close to the queen. Now,
Mm.
the queen offered us rooms in the palace, especially if we think we can get permission and maybe serve in the courts or something like that for the time being. Being close to the queen could be our best offer or best opportunity of protection until if Jill should return.
And
The
those rooms are
palace.
protected against scrying, right? Like,
No, just the queens and some
Oh,
specific ones that we
damn.
use. But the thing is, I think it's brilliant with Stora because the queens, the castle and the different rooms and everything, they're much more defensible than this place is. As much as I'm weirdly growing fond of it very quickly, my words won't be enough here.
And they have plumbing.
I have
I-
always wanted to take a bath in one of them,
It's-
and I've never
it's
got the chance.
Very nice.
I think that could be
The
a
only
sick
the
idea.
the only thing to keep in mind though, and I don't want to be the downer in this situation because I feel like that's what I'm known for everywhere, is you
Mhm.
need to all keep in mind that there is a swirling vortex counting down over all of our heads right now that we need to pay very close attention to, because yes, we have the ear of the queen. We have safety for the moment in the fact that you don't need magical licenses, most likely. We have favors that we can call on from her specifically, and we probably have safe rooms that we should take Elsbeth, Cadoris, Barry, everyone to. But the politicking has begun and is going to bubble over soon like an angry cauldron. And Westora, you are going to be the one that will be able to navigate this better than any of us. But in the coming days, based on how everyone else plays their hand, including Jill, we could find ourselves either at the tip of a spear, thrown out of the city, or permanent rooms in the palace, which I doubt is very much likely. But there's a lot that is about to be, the dice are about to be rolled.
I think if we're able to prove ourselves indispensable and reliable, a permanent place in the palace is a possibility. I don't know if that's what we want yet.
We'll see.
Yeah, but
If Jill- if Jill shows up and convinces them all that we're traitors for what happened at the masquerade, for instance, or if Jill has information on
That
some of us.
that is why I think we need to start making a PR campaign.
Yeah.
And that's I'll leave that to you.
I was hoping to maybe speak to somebody in the castle today to kind of start that, but obviously this is not the best time right now. But we should ingratiate ourselves to the queen, prove to her that that she's way better off having us around than not. And we should work with them. And I have another thought. It was Quintilius the queen's only child?
I don't know.
Anais, you would know, yes.
Yeah, that's why. Yeah, and Anna grimaces deeply and just nods quietly in response to the question.
Well, as you may have noted, and I'm not particularly happy about this, I may have killed him. I don't blame myself for it, because
You
obviously
shouldn't.
the situation was quite dramatic. I don't know if the queen remembers that. She was there. It did happen right in front of her, so likely she does. So, and she didn't say anything or seem that. But there's a young orphan girl here who needs a home, and the queen, unless she wants to have another child, might want to adopt. She will need an heir at some point.
We would need to ask Elspeth if she was okay being the heir to an entire kingdom.
We definitely would need it.
And with that, we are going to call it for tonight. Thank you, everybody, for playing. Thank you to all our wonderful viewers. Thank you to our wonderful Patreons and everyone that supports and helps the stream. Please remember to like, share, subscribe, tell your friends, tell your neighbors, tell your goldfish.
Goldfish.
Check out all of our
here.
They can hear. They just can't speak.
Or remember.
RageCon, RageCon.com.
RageCon.
Yep, go to check out RageCon, check out Mythical Family. They're amazing. Watch Kira GM in the amazing Prismatic Dragonfly Tavern. And spread the love. And for this evening, we're going to say good night, goodbye, and will everyone please say good night, Jill.
Good night,
Good night,
Jill.
Good night, Jill.
No, fuck off, Jill DeRay. I don't give a shit.
Right. Good night. Fuckface.
Full face.
Could not fuck face. Yeah, I like Magnars.
Night all.